Hello and welcome, everyone. We're back with day two of the semifinals. We watched yesterday Agna clinch her spot in the finals, and today we're going to see Gilby versus Smoothly. But first, we have another semifinal match actually in the consolation bracket. My name's Joe, and
Yes.
I'm joined once again by the one and only creator of the Creator Cup, Matt.
Oh, you give me way too much credit. The one and only. I'm lucky enough to have the one and only Joe Bruin on doing commentary, creator of the Collegiate Chess League as well. So, I feel like a student learning from the master.
Oh, it is true that I made the Collegiate Chess League, but it's not true that I'm the only Joe Bruin. I am actually just a fake. I'm an imitator.
Oh, what? That's news to me. You know what? My respect has now gone down a touch. Yeah.
Yeah, I stole the Joe Bruin name from the UCLA mascot where I went to school. But
Oh, no way.
anyways, enough about me. More about the players that we're going to be watching. We've got the
Yes.
brackets for both the consolation and the championship bracket. We've got the semifinals as we mentioned today. Let's take a
Yep,
look.
that we do.
So at the
So,
top, we've got B Skywalk versus Ollie. You want to tell us a little bit about that matchup?
yep. So these guys, Ollie was actually the one person in my bracket to beat me as well. So he is a very, very underrated uh, guy when it comes to the the format, the rapid format. Anyway, at any rate, because he's probably rated around 16, 1700, as is B Skywalk. But I recently found out that Ollie is also 2000 FIDE over the board in classical time controls. So his play is positional and very accurate, but in low time trouble in the rapid games, that's where he's been fumbling. So that's one weakness for him. B Skywalk has completely outperformed his rating. He had probably what I would say is the toughest group to come up against in Group A in the group stages, and he took a point off every single person, including one of the highest rated people in the tournament, Gilby. So, which is also the match we'll see later today. After this first match, so this should be a really good matchup. If B Skywalk is on form, he will put up a really good fight against Ollie, and Ollie I expect nothing less than a positional mastery from the positions he's been getting. I'm just worried about the time controls as he gets low on time.
Yeah, we've seen some of Ollie's matches earlier. He's definitely, as you said, underrated, but he's also definitely struggled a lot, I think, in time pressure, clinching one positions that he's been getting out of the opening. But let's not forget the lower half of this bracket, Blood Queen versus Gremlin, which I
Oh yeah,
suspect will be playing on Tuesday. Is that right?
Tuesday. Yep, 6:30 Eastern time. So that match has been rescheduled to Tuesday. So if you are about 6:30 Eastern time, which might be a better fit for most of the people tuning in, then please come root for Gremlin and Blood Queen. That I'm really looking forward to. They both play incredible chess. Gremlin has put up some crazy fights against people like Agne, and then Blood Queen. I just love how she plays. I think it's so fun to watch, and also I think she's been improving dramatically throughout the tournament. I think she's just been getting better and better.
Yeah, of course, shout out to Blood Queen and her improvement. Shout out to her coach bouncing across as well, another streamer and
Oh yeah,
commentator for the Creator Cup. But let's take a look at the match that we're about to watch right now in the championship bracket. We've got Gilby versus Smoothly. This is the top half of the bracket. We just saw yesterday the conclusion between Max and Agna, with Agna winning 1.5 out of 2, moving on to the finals. And we're about to watch Gilby versus Smoothly fight for that final spot uh, to punch their ticket to take the match against Agna.
yeah.
So
So that they'll be in the finals next week against Agna, and either way this goes, I think it's going to be a great final match. So I couldn't call it, to be honest, which way this will go. So I'm really excited to see how this round plays out.
yeah, and we've got Gilby actually in the chat, so he's tuned in, ready to go. This match will be the second match that we're watching today after we watch Ollie first. So let's look at the prizes that are on the line here. We've got the signed chessboard from Hikaru Nakamura and Arjun Erigaisi. Obviously, a huge prize to win, plus all of the diamond memberships, courtesy of chess.com, as well as a chess art print of a game for um, the players. So, you want
Yeah.
to tell us a little bit more about that, Matt?
I've got a print behind me. It's probably out of focus. There we go. Fingers in the right place now. Don't know if you guys can see that on stream, but it is a representation of a chess game. Each move is a line drawn. If it's a capture, it's kind of a red line, and castling. So all the different colors, all the lines drawn end up making a big art compilation. So each player will get a print of their own game as an artwork. I actually also have the signed board next to me. As well to show on screen. So this is the signed board signed by none other than Hikaru here and Arjun here. So this is ready to go. It's getting wrapped up this week, ready to send out to whoever wins the tournament.
That's incredible. Too bad you got knocked out yourself as one of the contestants, because
I
that
know,
could have
right? I
helped
was gunning
save
for it.
some shipping costs.
Oh, tell me about it. Although I do think a bit sus if I were to have won.
To have won your
So,
own event.
it works out in the end. I got beaten by a stronger player, and that's the important thing. So I think the players are also ready, and the match command is going to go through any
That's
second now.
exciting.
So
Yeah, let's take a look at the players here. We've got a look at Ollie's cam. Looks like it's maybe a little late or a little dark where he is, but also B Skywalk. He's tuning into the stream.
yep,
He
and we've
knows it's time to
yeah,
start,
all
and
right,
there
all
we
right.
go.
Yeah. He's out. The players do go into emote only mode as well, and we see D4 from B Sky. He is a
Yeah.
London player, so we will probably see those initial moves blitzed out very quickly.
Yep, the London on the board for B Skywalk playing with the white pieces. We could see he is a slight rating favorite, but as you
Yep.
mentioned, Ollie, very underrated. 2,000 FIDE is quite impressive. So I
Yeah.
guess it's the time pressure that really gets to him. We'll see if B Skywalk can take advantage of that in game one.
So Ollie is, to put it nicely, an older gentleman. So I his commentator, who I was commentating with, Fritzy, a couple of weeks ago, was saying that Ollie is 2000 rated over the board FIDE. It probably has been a little while though, so his strength might not still be up there. So because I don't think he's played OTB FIDE in a while, but still, it means on a good day, his chess it will be incredibly good. And I definitely felt that when I played him. There weren't any major mistakes. His positions were good. There was only small. I was lucky to get a game off of him because I had a crazy counter tactic that would have been really hard to spot. So Ollie is dangerous, and he's been slowly squeezing all of his opponents actually, but he's been missing some of those tactical one-shot blowouts. Apart from maybe in the games he played me. So who knows? Who knows? Maybe he was just having off days against the others.
Yeah, and we see Ollie already starting to use some of the time here. B Skywalk probably still very comfortable
Yeah.
with the white pieces in the London system. I'm expecting Bishop B5. I think that was going to be a good check to throw
Yeah.
in. Of course, the knight here blocks the check, but that is kind of an annoying pin to deal with and comes with a strong threat of taking twice. So needs a little bit of attention to detail from Ollie. Otherwise, we might see B Skywalk trade off the knight, but typically, I don't think you want to necessarily open the H file for your opponent before they've castled. That being said, castling queenside probably looks a little too risky with this really nice dark square bishop.
Yeah. So Bishop B5, very thematic. Coming from B Sky, showing that he is very knowledgeable about the opening, even though he's already spent a move moving the bishop. He knows that it's not a waste of tempo to pin the knight. It's really important, and it does mean that the pawn structure will probably get damaged.
Queen B6, strong move, just defending the knight, but also developing a piece, putting pressure on the bishop as well as the center.
and the
So
b2 square. So if the trades do happen, b2 is loose. So
yeah, the computer
it's
was
feels
calling for a c4 pawn push
yeah.
there, but trading off bishop for the knight. So Ollie's got the bishop pair. There's pressure on b2 as you called. And Ollie's actually up on time now, so he's keeping up with the pace. This is a pretty good start so far.
Yeah, that this is great. B2 potentially poison. I wouldn't necessarily want to take on B2. It's especially not before I've castled. The queen will get kicked around, and then the rook can infiltrate. Especially because there's not a light squared bishop to cover this B7 square. B Sky opts to open the H file, or trade the bishop, which does open the H file, which is interesting. I suppose Black's saying now, Ollie's like, well, I don't think I'm going to castle. Not yet. I mean, the H file it will still be hard to attack, so there is potential in the future you could castle kingside, um, still, and it not feel too dangerous. It whereas my gut instinct was like, oh, opening the H file, I don't want to castle, but actually, how do you attack? Right, those pawns are kind of strong there, and it's hard to break down.
Yeah, capture on c5. I think B Skywalk may be a little too trade happy. This is definitely very much helping Ollie's position, opening the H file, developing the bishop. Um, Maybe knight b3 is a good move here, saving the b pawn, putting pressure on the bishop on c5. But I want to shout out the chat. I saw Farzi subbed,
Oh, a new
hoping
Fuzzy.
to get back into the tournament somehow. Hamster Ham, Cholato, Jenny, Nodule, of
Yeah,
course,
I
Fly.
was meant to shout out Hamster Ham earlier. And thanks for taking over the ECF channel. We can try. If you know anyone at ECF, then let's go. Let's do it.
Well, we've got a question in the chat. Who do we think is going to win? I'm going to start a prediction.
Let's go.
So you all have 2 minutes to put your channel points on the
Yep.
line.
Um, B3 played to protect the pawn. I always do wonder whether like around Rook B1. I kind of hate to play moves like Rook B1, so I can understand the want to play something like B3. It does kind of weaken some of those um dark squares, but does it really matter? Because the good thing is with the bishops being on the same color is that you can sort of start thinking about, well, where do I want my pawns to be? What color complex should I put everything on? If I put them all on light squares, then it weakens your bishop. My dark squared bishop is currently kind of bad as well, so maybe there's a future where I can try and trade the pawn structure as just general themes and thoughts of ideas. There's no concrete moves that I've got to try and do anything, but I'm just trying to like create plans for what may or may not be good in the future if I wanted to go into some endgame. Now, the open H file is still scary. So, as white, do I want to castle as well? Is a big question.
Well, what about black castling? Because you might want to castle kingside still with the open H file. So
Yeah.
both players have castling questions. Right now the computer's saying bishop to b4 is the best move, and just trying to take advantage of this last b3 pawn push on the light squares,
Mm,
kind of making the dark squares a little weak, and
yeah.
Holly's played it. So he might get into c3, attacking the rook. Um, yeah, and so B Skywalk doesn't like that pen, just castles right out of it, and bishop
Great.
3 c3 is the top move here.
Yeah, you've just B3 made a big hole, and Bishop C3 just clamps the pawns down. It restricts the movement and makes it kind of annoying because you've got to move your rook, and you can't really easily attack that bishop on C3 as well. I'm wondering if on another note, like how do I improve this bishop for white? I it's like a bit awkwardly placed. I don't know what I'm doing, and because black hasn't played bishop c3, I want control over that diagonal before Ollie then jumps into c3. So bishop e5 stands out to me as a good move to make, improving my piece and preventing an idea from Ollie as well.
Yeah, bishop e5, one of the top moves there. As you mentioned, kind of takes the long diagonal away from Black's dark square bishop. Bishop c3 now is one of the top moves
Mhm.
again. I was thinking bishop e5 hitting the knight. Knight might drop back to d7 with a counterpunch, but then our bishop
Bishop
then
E2.
has a couple options to come back to and
Mhm.
just stay trained on that long diagonal, covering some of these dark square weaknesses.
And
Uh,
then it sort of becomes a bit stronger because that is actually the strongest diagonal I think it could be on. So I would be happy if I could get bishop b2 in, and then it's just a sniper for the long run of the game.
yeah, and we'll see if Ollie goes for this bishop c3 idea before B Skywalk finds bishop e5. So both bishops kind of fighting for real estate on the long diagonal, but the players might not quite realize that yet. Instead, knight hops into e4, and this helps kind of keep an eye on some of these dark squares in
Yep.
B Skywalk's camp.
This is like really like starting to move in Ollie's direction. His pieces are just so much more active. The B it just shows how really simple move like B3 to protect a pawn can actually be quite detrimental. Everyone's always talks about you can't move a pawn backwards, but B3 was just on a positional level like quite bad. And I think the computer labeled it as a mistake, and this is the reason why, because there's no way you can cover the C3 and A3 squares. The A3 square not too much of a problem, but Black now just has the control to be able to put pieces in, and it's really hard to be able to dislodge them. And you've got to react as white as opposed to kind of push and press. Also, if you just like draw a line of where black's pieces are on the board and how far advanced they are versus white's, you can see that black just owns all of the space really, and it's encroaching. Whereas white, the queen isn't off the back rank, the rooks haven't been like developed, uh, and the bishop is just still doesn't feel like it's doing a great job. Now, this is where I still think bishop e5 is kind of screaming out to be played, even though it might get kicked or can be kicked by the f pawn. You really want to cover this c3 square, and you still don't have control over it now either because oh, okay, because there's two pieces on it. But now with this a3 move, black essentially can just bonk the bishop straight on c3, and the square that it wants to be, almost forcing it to find a better square.
Yeah, so a3 kicking the bishop away. I'm wondering if Ollie's gonna finally go to c3 now that his hand is forced, or if he's gonna go back
To like
and
e7 and be passive.
yeah, B Skywalk again showing a pawn push instead of playing with the pieces, and now has to deal with the consequences of inviting all these pieces even further into his own position. So the rook's gonna have to move, probably gonna go to b1. If you go to c1, then bishop to b2 is just a fork, picking up material.
Yep.
So you don't really want to go to a2 because then your rook has like literally no squares. So rook b1, not the happiest rook. Queen might want to go up to d3, but um, we still have maybe bishop e5 ideas. But the problem is now that when this bishop moves, because your rook is on b1, the knight's going to come in with a
Big
fork.
problems. Big
So
problems.
I'm expecting queen d3 for white if given the chance. But black can just try to be annoying and try to push the c pawn and take even more space.
Well,
Uh,
also f6, I would be thinking about as black because this bishop is so restricted. This white's dark squared bishop is so restricted that f6 is coming with some problems. And you're just sort of kicking the pieces back and making them a bit more useless.
yeah, f6 not traditionally one of the best moves,
Don't push
but
f6, as Ben Fogle would say.
to your credit, it's actually the second recommendation after c5. But
It's because I'm
also, it likes bringing the rooks in, right? Rook f to
yeah,
e8. You could bring the rook to maybe the d file, and
yeah.
Ollie just has all the time and space here. B Skywalk very cramped and wasn't fighting for the key squares with the pieces. Instead, electing to push some pawns, and now it's black that has all of the space in white's camp.
So if you're in a position like this and you've got white, how do you think about this position? What would what's sort of your process going through? Like, what would your plan be?
As white, I'm trying to bring my queen up to d3. I think that's one of the first moves I need to make because that's going to help minimize any forking potentials from the knight.
Hmm.
It's also just connecting the rooks, bringing the last piece into the game. Here, obviously, the pawn on a3 is hanging. Computer still says queen d3 is one of the best moves. I might consider just playing a4, right?
Yeah,
Like, I'm
yeah,
like pretty materialistic. But that being said, queen d3 does a good job of tying the knight down, putting pressure on the bishop, and we're considering maybe a move like knight g5 and just trying to dislodge black's pieces from my half
right,
of the board.
right. Yeah, so you're happy to give up that a3 pawn because queen takes a3,
I
knight g5,
I'm
then
personally not. I'm probably playing a4 to save the pawn because that's
yeah,
just who I am.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I mean,
but
I would play a4 in a heartbeat because also time control, right? They're both in 4 minutes. I would have just been like, right, a4, boom. I don't see
yep.
any huge. There's no tactical problems with it. Like,
Okay. So here, Ollie, he brings the piece back with the one move threat, right? Um, the computer wanted
mhm,
black to bring the rooks in, adding more pieces to the position.
yeah,
Here, one move threat, knight c3 fork, right? B Skywalk just has to move the queen, d3, most logical choice, and you should be good to go. Don't go to e2. You're still going to fork. Don't do nothing about that. He surely sees the fork is coming.
yeah.
So, um, yeah, I
I,
think B Skywalk
so
needs to play a little faster too, because I think that's where Ollie's going to make most of his mistakes.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And the thing is with, where do you put the rook after? What? Okay, I was going to say, where do you put the rook after knight e3? Because there's no way. But maybe he's just allowing it because he thinks it's a bad.
Maybe he can
It's not
pin.
great.
Maybe he can pin,
Ah, right. Yeah, he can
but
pin.
still a little awkward of a move. Also, shout out to Zafer with the Prime. Really appreciate that. Hello to 480 and Alan. Welcome in. Yes, this is the consolation bracket. We're going to watch the championship bracket after this. So stay tuned. We got two matches today, back to back, plus interviews after each. And we can ask the players some questions about the decisions, the timing, and all of this. So here we go. Knight c3 fork, I thought was um, not a good
Maybe
move
this
to
is
allow,
smart.
but yeah, queen d2 or technically e1, both possible moves to get out of this.
Yeah, I maybe this is quite smart by these guys because it does take the punch out of it. It isn't a fork. It's a kind of tactical defense, but I think it falls to D takes C4 because you're opening up the files for the rook and black can just get active pieces. Um, and then I don't know if you can stop. You'd have to go queen to E1. So like D takes C4 becomes a little bit annoying. And yeah, I think black's just suddenly very active and you might still lose this exchange. I can't quite. Maybe you go knight C1, but
Yeah, so Ollie has a great position as you're calling out D takes C4. There's not much time really to take back. Your A pawn could be falling. The rook's gonna come and hit the queen. So really, this is getting to the point where we've seen it time and time again. Ollie has created himself a fantastic position,
yeah.
but is he able to convert in the time pressure? And the answer, we already see a mistake here, missing the tactical opportunity.
Yep.
And now Black's Knight just has to retreat. Only space is back to e4. And B Skywalk, he's gotten through the worst of it. And I think this is really where we're going to see the time pressure hitting Ollie the hardest. And B
Yeah.
Skywalk's going to start picking up the pace.
Yeah, because I well also that said, Ollie is 1700 blitz on Chess.com. So he's not a slouch like in terms of speed, but I don't think he's good at changing track between speeds. Like that there's something that just isn't working for him on that front. So if B Sky can just keep the pace up, and I think he's very aware of this. I think it's something we all became quite aware of very quickly in the group stages. So I think his game plan is just to try and hold the speed. He's now got a minute on the clock over Ollie. So there's a lot of potential, and Ollie maybe feels like he's missed his chance. He just made a backwards knight move, although his pieces are still well placed. Uh, when you lose momentum, sometimes it's a little bit frustrating as well. I'm not sure about Rook D8. I understand, but why not Rook C8?
Yeah, now B Skywalk is releasing the tension here, and C takes opens the C file. I think this is in Black's favor though, even though White is doubled up on the C file, leading with the Queen. I'm imagining Black's Rook coming to the C file, as you called out at some point and contesting that. But maybe this is a good chance for White to play Queen C6. Didn't do that, went with B4, and now we do see Rook A to C8, forcing the queen to move. And yeah, going to B3 makes a lot of sense. Defending
So
the
you've
A
got
pawn and the B pawn.
that you've forced your own hand by pushing the B pawn. Another pawn push. I know he goes. I know his thought process is I want to make a pass pawn. So he wants to get them up to the board as soon as possible, but it's just not quite there yet. I don't think. And then I'm thinking like E5, D4 now for black, even. Although
Well,
actually no, I don't have E5 yet. I don't have E5
this
yet.
is a gnarly move. Obviously, the A pawn is hanging, but I think the biggest threat is actually knight to E2, which is a fork, just going to be
Yeah.
winning pretty much on the spot. I think you need to play King H1 and relinquish the material. So, Ollie, as much credit as we're trying to give B Skywalk for playing fast, Ollie's still very much in it and very much doing better here after
Yeah.
this sequence B4, Queen B3 from White. So big fork coming in. B Skywalk, he's gonna have to find a defense here. King H1 might be the most reasonable, or he's got to
Yeah.
relinquish the C file. Um, yeah, you don't want to go A1 to defend the pawn either because that bishop still controls A1 once the knight moves. So that
And
diagonal that he didn't take earlier is being very useful for Ollie's position here. And Ollie's up on time too, which is got to be a great change of pace for him.
And also, you don't have Rook C2, which is an easy one to miss because it looks like you could do Rook C2 to defend E2, but the Queen on A6 still defends E2. So if you did go, okay, Rook C2, I'll defend against the check. You will just lose the exchange as well. So that Queen, although A6 being on A6 is kind of a weird square, it's actually coordinating really well with the knight.
Yeah, the point after knight e2, if we move the king, our rook on
Oh,
f1
he
is going to
plays
be
Rook
hanging.
C2.
Yeah, rook c2 played. Does Ollie want to go for knight e2 check now?
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. I think it's missed the exchange is going. Oh, again, maybe has seen it, but it's a really hard one with like the knight a4 as well. He
there it
does go
is.
rook
He needs
e2.
to take the knight. Oh, now he doesn't. Now any knight move, knight d4, for example, that's going to be threatening that rook on f1. It's going to be threatening the queen. That is still a fork. I
Yep.
mean, you could even probably just take. Oh, he takes on c2. This is also very much winning.
Okay, it doesn't like, but I'm wondering about the evaluation because I think this is very much winning, but why? Why is this?
Knight g3 is a fantastic discovery.
Oh, of course, on the rook f1 on rook on
You
f1.
could also just
Wow,
take on f4,
miss.
rook c8, a blunder, because that gives white an opportunity to save the rook on f1. Queen
But
to b1 is one move.
oh,
Queen
queen d1.
d1.
It's got to be on the file though. Like that's the only way you can.
Queen
Yep.
d1
Okay. Great.
played. But now the winning shot, rook to c1. Wow.
Oh.
That's why queen
Okay.
b1 was slightly better. You could still also just take on f1. Oh,
And Ollie misses.
Ollie's missing these tactics. It's still a great position that knight on c3, remember. One of
Yep.
the attackers on a4. But I'm worried if Ollie's missing some of these really great A chances, like knight g3 check, for example.
Yep.
There's a good chance that he's gonna. Oh, he just blunders the rook and one. Oh, and he
Oh,
misses
he
it.
misses it.
Oh my goodness. Remember why the queen had to go to the back rank? Because you're protecting the rook.
Damn. Okay.
Okay,
Well,
knight
low
back to
time trouble getting to
c3.
both players.
Wow, actually, knight c3, rook c1, and your knight's a little pinned, but wow.
So
Okay,
Ollie's going cool, chill. I, I've kind of getting this. Okay, back rank problems diminished, but Ollie is up a pawn. Um, so, but it's not that straightforward. There's definitely drawable territory if you play well. But the thing is, we're at 40 seconds for B Skywalk, and
oh, he
50
just
for
gives him the pawn.
ouch.
Trade, rook takes f2, Ollie.
But do you have like knight c6 and
I mean, you could just push that
no,
pawn, or
no, yeah.
I
It's
don't know. I don't know. I think Ollie's clearly the favorite here, two pawn advantage, but I feel like if you miss those kind of opportunities, that's really B Skywalk's chance and opportunity to kind of strike back and make him
yeah.
pay for missing such glorious opportunities. I think is he is he trying to sack on a7 and push that pawn home?
I mean, I was wondering about this. I was trying to figure out, can I do it? Sack knight takes push. No, because the knight comes back to c6, so
Yeah, not quite. It doesn't quite work. But I like knight d4, attacking the rook, defending the b pawn.
and
Maybe we can go rook a1 and then knight back to c6.
yeah. So there's still potential. I think black definitely has the easier job. I maybe would just start trying to think about getting my king in the game because it's safe for it to come in. I'm not getting checkmated. And I need the material in the center. B Skywalker is doing a good job of getting his king in. He's aware, but his pawn structure, his pawns are so much weaker. He's got three pawn islands, two isolated pawns, two of which are just isolated pawns. He's down pawns. So this is gonna get potentially a bit
Oh,
tricky
can you
for
take the
him.
pawn and push the pawn?
Oh yeah, what?
Oh, actually,
Only if
no, there's rook takes, my
yeah,
bad.
rook takes.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
knight takes, you get forked, but there's
Yeah.
rook takes avoiding the forks, so it didn't quite work. But
Well, time is getting lower and lower. So
oh, computer says
what?
it's actually better after rook d1, threatening the fork.
Threatening mate.
Yeah, mate as well. Rook d1 missed opportunity. So this is still far from over. Man, B Skywalk, he had the time, but he's just trying to bring the king in. King
Uh,
c5,
King
attacking the
c5
knight,
and rook d1 again, and
defending the
this
pawn.
is potentially problematic.
There's only two good moves for black, actually. Knight e4 check, and no, rook d1
Come on,
again.
rook d1. Rook d1
Missed
is a
missed the
your
first
key fight
time, but can he make him pay the second time?
because what you do after rook d1, it is tough. You can't go 97.
Oh,
Oh, all right. I mean, low time, both players, but you're protecting the pawn. So you gotta go for
he
activity.
should have put the knight back on c6
Mm.
to
Maybe he
keep his
still will be
king
able to.
close. Oh, yeah, and the knight was so good. If you put the knight back there, oh, he's trading off the b pawn. That's not really what you want to see.
Yeah. Pawn trades. I mean, maybe again, he's just trying to simplify. I think because the time, and he's just trying to make Ollie make decisions. But trades aren't the way. You make it complicated. Jump your knight around. No.
Check makes sense. Maybe knight e5?
Um.
Oh, this is a little dangerous.
Yeah, I think
Let's.
it's tricky. I was wondering if there's any
Oh, knight
rook.
f5. Yeah, that's gonna
Oh,
be
yeah.
really gnarly. Hold on. King
You still don't
e4.
have to check the rook though, so you have the time to get the knight
Knight.
out, and it's hard to calculate. Um, maybe I just go
Okay.
knight back and go knight f3.
Imagine
I
he
do.
gets rook b7, rook takes on f7 mate. Oh wait, it's not mate. The king can run away. Anyways, no, I
Oh, I
I
like
would
this
I would
move.
check on e2 though. Yeah, check on e2.
The knight is gone. We've lost the knight.
But yeah, the other knight's hanging,
Oh
but
no, you can go g5 check if you take the knight, and then you pick up the rook.
oh wow.
So
Oh, but he gives
what a move!
g5
What
first.
a move! That's yeah.
Yeah,
Nice. Ollie
so
spots it.
Ollie's gonna be winning another pawn after they trade knights. Oh, he might have given the check first. Okay, it doesn't matter. This is four pawns versus one. Ollie should be able to, he should be more than able to convert this.
Yeah, and you step the king up. You get the pawns moving.
Only a miracle for B Skywalk now. Can he hold some sort of draw position with a stalemate or some other miracle? I'm not sure. Yeah, both sides opportunities missed for sure. Ollie trying to trade off rooks here. I thought rook to h4 would have been a good move maybe, but I guess king just goes back to g3. But yeah, now the pawns are pushing. King is shuffling. This is going to be over in just a handful of moves.
Yeah.
Yeah, missed opportunities for both sides for sure.
Wow. And this is what I was saying about Ollie. Like he gets good positions and he's missing those tactical blows, which will just knock out his opponent. I also caveat, apart from the games against me, he sacks pieces when he had those tactics when he was playing me. So it is there, but yeah, he's got to be on form to see it. But I mean, fortunately for him, the position was just so good. But yeah, uh, it feels like a shame when you've gained so much, um, and you just miss those key little moments.
Yeah,
Now I
Ollie
like
Ollie had some really great opportunities earlier, like obviously missing a rook in one was huge. But B Skywalk also then had his own opportunities that were missed. So he could have very easily have won this game in the end game, despite being down material and down in
yep
position. So missed opportunities for both sides. Maybe a little nervous in this first game. This is a
yep.
match of two games, so B Skywalk, he might lose this game, but he also has a chance to bring it back in the next game. So this match is far from over.
And also, Beast Walk played D4, which I don't think anyone's played against Ollie so far. I may be wrong on that, but Ollie is huge on the Scandi. I love this move from Ollie. It's clinical. He picks up a pawn, threatening mate, and I mean the only thing to be wary of is stalemate. Like you've got to be so careful not to stalemate here. Um,
Yeah, but this is also winning the rook, and there's no stalemate here, so
yeah,
takes king h1 forced, rook h3 checkmate. Well done, Ollie.
beautiful, nice, clean. Clean, clean, clean. So that is 1-0 to Ollie. And we are getting ready for the next match.
Let's listen in to B Skywalk. Maybe he has
Sure.
some post game revelations that he's gonna to see. Oh, he's got the wasted scene on. Very nice. Oh, I think he's just getting ready for the next game. I don't. Oh,
He
the
can
game's
he
already
can go
started.
through it.
Let's
No,
see.
no, it
Oh,
hasn't started.
yeah,
It
we did
hasn't
not
started.
play that well. It says no blunder, but 3 misses and 10 mistakes. Oh my
All right, yeah.
gosh.
Let's see
Ollie is
his
just
review.
Okay, so I should
yeah.
have ticked
Ollie
that
is just
bishop.
popping off
I
very
knew this
quickly.
was good. That
So he'll
repositioning.
be back in a minute.
I guess I didn't have to take. Actually, C4 was the move I was looking for, I guess.
I can't hear.
Takes.
Oh, that's because. What do you want?
Then we just play A4. Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, I gotta pay
I
out the
see
channel
now.
point predictions.
That's
Oh,
very
how did that go?
interesting.
What was the general score?
It
They
was
didn't like me taking
two
that
people
bishop
bet on Ollie, and no one else
or
bet
this
anywhere
move.
else.
Rook
Okay.
B1. I
So,
just don't ever like playing
well
Rook
done to
B1.
them.
Miss. Ooh. Queen D3.
We'll
I
do
wanted
the
to play
same
Queen
prediction.
D3.
Wait till B Skywalk finds
The
Rook
Queen
D1.
E1 was better. Okay. That makes sense. Takes, push.
Yeah, that's
Not
one of
like
those
that.
that it is just low time trouble that makes you maybe miss some moves like that. You get so locked in on just making
This was
moves
tough.
that you might miss your activity.
Yeah, it wanted to just go for the queen trade.
All right, we've got the next prediction in the chat.
Understandable.
5
But I knew
minutes
that
this
was going to
time.
be losing, but it was losing no matter what. But the more
Okay.
material I keep on
Okay,
the
I don't
board,
know
the
if he
higher the
breezed
chances of
past the whole rook
coming
f1
back
hanging.
somehow.
Yeah,
This was
I
a
think he did.
miss.
Oh, does he see rook d1 now?
Come on. Come on. Okay, he's on it. He's on it.
He's looking somewhere else though.
Huh.
No, yeah.
Oh, there he is.
Mating
Rook
patterns.
D1. That makes sense. Oh, that makes so much sense. Oh my gosh, we could have won there.
There we go.
And
Yeah.
then,
I mean,
oh,
it
Right.
was only going to be like a 0.4 advantage, but
yeah, and this
that
right
was
here
that was what
shows
we needed
really
to
good
find.
in-game technique from Ollie with the rook and pawn. No hiccups here. And
Yeah, and also picking up on the G5 check tactic. He knew
Tough
that he had to
stuff.
play G5 first,
Oh,
otherwise
they
he
got me
loses
on
the
the
rook.
stream.
So that was the last little trick in
I
the
was gonna
position.
see what they were saying,
all right, now he's
but
noticing the stream.
he just played super solid. I really need to find
Okay.
Rook D1
Can
there.
you see if Ollie is
But I was
back
under
yet?
a
Yeah,
majority
let's take a
time,
look at
so
Ollie here.
All
Ollie's
right.
just chilling, dude.
All right. He's back. So Ollie popped off very quickly. So I
Ollie
mean he's
has
himself in the
returned.
game too.
He's got a bit of a
So we'll
smile
get the
going.
next game started.
All right. Well, as you're getting the players ready, maybe we could take a quick look at the bracket again. I see Agna in the chat asking how it's going. We just watched the consolation semifinals. Um, Not this one, but this one, B Skywalk versus Ollie. And Ollie's taking game one lead, and we're starting game two right
Right
now.
now.
So let's take a look at how this game started. We have a Sicilian, e4, c5, an open Sicilian, perhaps if B Skywalk perhaps trades here. Um, he's got the black pieces. This is a must-win situation for B Skywalk for his tournament to stay alive. A
So
draw
we,
or
we
loss, and he's eliminated.
we want an all-out battle, and I think Open Sicilian is a good choice from Ollie. I much prefer those games. I really find closed Sicilians much harder to play, but maybe for Ollie's style of play, maybe he does want a close position. There's going to be a lot of tactics here. I mean, potentially for him, but he will need to find them. He is comfortable with the draw though as well, so maybe we'll see if he plays a bit more slowly or just tries to consolidate and trade everything.
Yeah, shout out to Agna, one of the Creator Cup
The finalist.
participants, of course, one of the soon to be two finalists. Perhaps she's tuning in to see who she's going to fight against. After this match, we're going to see the last semifinal match of the championship bracket between Smoothly and Gilby. So that'll be very exciting. Also, just shout out to Agna in general. Besides
Hey, Chess
a
on Earth as well.
Creator Cup participant, also a major streamer. She was just commentating for Dina, I believe. Yeah, shout out to Chess on Earth, another streamer and a massive supporter of the chess community online. Definitely very much appreciate Chess on Earth.
Oh
And
yeah, I've seen him support so many people, so many different streamers. It's great that he just obviously loves chess. So thanks for joining and watching, dude.
yeah, I think Agna played against Ollie, right, in the group stage.
That is not in the group stage. No, Agne had already had Smoothly.
Mm.
I had Ollie, unfortunately for me. So who she had Uche, Smoothly, and Gremlin. So
Mm.
that was a tough group as well. So she's already played Smoothly. Smoothly won all of his matches outright, but I also do think that Agne has played probably some of the best chess throughout the tournament.
Okay, Agna confirming that she's here to scout the future opponent and the finalists. So she's here to do her research. But yeah, Ollie, he's got the white pieces here, which is huge to get the win in the first game.
Yep.
But especially with black pieces, because now we can see he's very comfortable with the Sicilian, and we've seen him do great things out of the opening. This is, of course, no exception here. B Skywalker, he's got his work cut out for him. Not only needs to win, but has to do it with the black pieces against a confident Ollie, who he's got some wind in his sails right now.
Yep. So do you play open Sicilian, closed Sicilian, any like C3? Do you play any setups like this against the Sicilian?
Yeah, I am an E4 player through and through.
Nice.
Against the Sicilian, I play C3, the Alpin.
Yep.
So that's more my speed, more my style. But B Skywalk, he's already gotten his king castled. He's feeling he feels pretty safe. The thing is, his light square bishop doesn't have any moves right now, so he still has some work cut out for him here in the opening.
So what I find really strange here is that there's one natural move that the engine likes in the top three moves, which is bishop e2. I completely understand that. Developing a bishop, keeping your king flexible, great. The other options, though, knight c2 or c5, which both seem pretty unnatural to me to play right now because I've got one more piece I want to develop, or I would want to castle queenside and just start trying to blow up, blow up the d file essentially. Get my knight out of the way, or try and anticipate some kind of some pushes to break the center. I do find it kind of strange having both my c pawn and e pawn and f pawns kind of in this structure though. So I don't really know how to proceed or what kind of plans I should be playing. And c5 just feels so strange. I do understand and kind of like knight b5 because you're trying to deal with this hole or put a piece on the hole on d6, but you're just allowing your opponent to play d5, I think. I don't
Yeah,
see a problem there really.
so I wanted to point out this C5 idea. C5, I think, just clamps down on the D pawn. One of the struggles of Black's
Mm,
position I was mentioning is the light square bishop has nowhere to go, so moving the B pawn or the D pawn makes the most sense. And of course,
yeah.
striking in the center is a very logical thing to do. So C5 would have helped prevent the D5 pawn break. Knight C2, I don't know nearly as much why, but I think D5 is still a good move here. White instead opts for knight B5, as you called out, trying to get to D6, but now D5 is just going to be a solid move here for Black. And we're starting to see some trades. The problem is this pawn attacked maybe 3 times, only defended twice, but the E pawn is pinned right now to the bishop and the king lined up on the E file. So we
And
see this trade, but this is not good.
no, like you haven't castled, you're not safe. This bishop is a little bit tender. So I'm also wondering moves like bishop h6, uh, because if you because you can't take the bishop, sorry. Like you said, you are pinned. So you're putting even more pressure on this e3, bishop on e3.
Yeah, bishop h6 is a fantastic move, but I am a little curious. Um, your knight is hanging, right? So bishop h6, if pawn takes knight, I'm guessing we have queen takes d2, king takes, bishop takes, and then we can always just recapture on c6. So we actually win that pawn and we're kicking the knight away. Really
No, but you've
strong.
got rook takes e3 if pawn takes knight.
Oh,
You
rook
just rook
takes.
takes e3.
Yeah, but then what? King d1 and then
Uh, I would probably just trade queens here. Is that terrible?
okay, well, B Skywalk missed.
Oh, you had rookie one there because the
Oh, because the
queen's
queen's
pinned.
pinned. That's right. Yeah, that's
Oh,
gnarly stuff.
all right, okay. Anyway, we didn't go down this line. But
But
that's
man,
that.
lots of time left on the clock here, especially with the increment. I kind of wish that B Skywalk spent a little bit more time looking at that because that was definitely a huge opportunity. Here, Ollie can just try to castle straight out of all the danger and does exactly that. It still likes black, but not nearly as much as it liked bishop h6, taking advantage of that
Yeah.
open e file. Here it's saying the advantages after a6, but more or less, Ollie's gotten through the worst of it.
Yeah. I mean, I am always worried about having an isolated pawn. I personally hate playing with an isolated pawn. I love to play against them. So I always I would rather, I mean, some people love to play with an isolated pawn, but I always think it's more of a weakness than it is a strength.
So a6 on the board, and maybe one of the reasons why earlier it liked knight c2 instead of knight to b5. We do have
Yeah.
opposite side castles, which really kind of I like for B Skywalk. Those are some of the most aggressive games, and that's, I think, going to help his chances of getting a decisive result. So Ollie just needs a draw to win and clinch this match and punch his ticket to the finals. B Skywalk is in a must-win situation, and I think he's done a great job to set himself up for that sort of success.
Now, kicking a knight, very logical. I actually don't mind going knight to a3. It feels like maybe a small concession, because I'm trying to get knight to c4. But the problem is, I think that instant follow-up would just be b5, and then this knight on a3 is super restricted. So as long as you follow up with b5, black is doing great here.
Yeah, knight a3, the only other square you could really go to is d4, but if you do that, you got to be okay with parting ways with your IQP, that isolated d pawn. Shout out to Chess
Oh,
Under
that's
Fire with the raid. Welcome
oh
in.
huge, huge chess on the.
Also, yeah, Nai's rated earlier. I don't have alerts on, so I apologize for that. Shout out to Brody as well, tuning in. Yeah, everyone's here for the most exciting time, I'd say. We're on the cusp of seeing Ollie either punch his ticket to the finals, sending B Skywalk home, or B Skywalk about to come up with a brilliant comeback, forcing overtime, which would be so exciting to see.
Um, Ollie is ticking down here though. Like maybe he's really weighing up the pros and cons of losing this pawn. Uh, Also, the king needs to go like king b1 at some point in time. Like I feel like king b1 is needed because this c file is suddenly going to become open, and I want king b1 probably before bishop f5 happens, so my king doesn't get stuck on the c file.
Ollie might be going down some sort of calculation rabbit hole with the move d6, but you could simply just trade, take, and you've got a counterpunch at the bishop. Ollie,
And
he's
also
adjusting his
open.
camera right now.
All right. And also opening up the B file, I would not like to do at all. Like I would instantly discount D6 and because A takes B5 and like my king is can be attacked on the C file, it can be attacked on the A file. I yeah, and B4 comes to maybe kick the knight away. Just not really not enjoying this. Um but yeah,
Maybe
Ollie really tanking.
maybe he's worried knight a3 if there's some sort of like knight takes on d5.
Maybe he's worried about knight a3, b5, and then you've probably got to move your c knight because there's a fork incoming.
Or, I mean, can't you just bring the knight? Okay, he finally decides knight to d4, but of course the d5 pawn is going to fall. So
Yep,
Ollie said, hey, I'm up a pawn. I don't want my knight on the rim because that would be pretty grim.
yep,
So if B Skywalk wants to take this d pawn, which was isolated and weak anyways, he's more than welcome to do that.
yep,
So yeah, B Skywalk takes. He takes with the lesser ranked knight and also opens up the e file for the rook. So this is a counterpunch to the bishop on e3. White could trade and does so. Two ways to capture back. Both are good, but probably knight takes is best because we're retaining that attack on the bishop.
yep.
Perhaps the queen will come to the c file with a check. And this
He loves
is
that B bishop.
it's time for B
The
Skywalk to cook.
Yep, let's go. He's the must win. He's pulling out the clutch. He told me he didn't have a clutch game in him, so I mean I've now cursed it, so we'll see. But we might see the clutch from him today.
Yeah, and I like this. He's using some of his time to calculate which capture is better. He does go the better way with the knight, opening up the bishop, using the knight as an attacker, putting pressure on that bishop. The bishop's going to have to move. You can go back to f2, but all in all, I like this position for B Skywalk.
Now I'm trying to figure out if like can I just go knight b3 for example? Oh no, yeah, because if you take the bishop, oh, you can take it with the rook though. But then you can take so essentially because my queen and rook are lined up, I'm trying to figure out. Whoa. Okay, I counter
Hmm.
attack, but it just feels like there's a lot going on now, and like over, some piece is going to get overloaded. I just have a sense that there's too much that my queen is defending. Uh, and the open C file I just don't like as well. Like,
Yeah, there's a check. I don't think we necessarily want to check. I think we
I
want
quite
to get the bishop to f5 if we can, and then
yeah,
check.
yeah. So like
Like,
maybe
yeah, bishop
even
f5, rook check would be really strong. So the queen needs to leave the attack, right? We were looking at the bishop going back because it felt logical to keep an eye on the knight on d4 because now it's
ooh,
attacked
queen
twice.
b6. I love this move. Like it's super aggressive. He doesn't go for the check, but it's just starting to point at this b2 pawn with the bishop and the queen. So he's looked at his pieces and how they're coordinating. This is really nice. And now you can go bishop f5 f5 if you want to, because the knight cannot. Well, the knight
Knight
can
could
take.
still take, yes, because the queen is defending b2. So maybe what do we want to do?
What do we want? Uh, is there? But can we? I was thinking we've got rooks that can start coming in, so you can go like rook c8 or rook d8.
Oh, knight moves, but now that's a discovery on the knight, but that alleviates the pressure on the f5 square. I'm wondering if we can sack the knight and just play bishop f5 to get the rook to the c file.
Sack the knight and bishop f5. So you're thinking like knight e3?
No, or maybe we just move the knight to you're saying knight e3 is a move. I'm
But
wondering
like
if
knight b4,
knight
same
yeah,
thing,
knight b4 just looks
and
so logical.
you're threatening a2,
You are
and like
threatening a2.
and to pick up the knight if you take on a2.
Well, the
uh,
king, I'm expecting knight b4, king b1, and
yep.
then maybe we just follow with, I mean, you have check. Uh, king goes to the corner. Oh,
Yep.
and then we've got knight c2, some windmill action.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, knight b4 just looks devastating. Um,
There might be a world where he decides he wants to try and go like bishop e6 or something. If he doesn't like moving the knight, you either. But the thing is with logic is that goes like I've got one more piece that I need to get into the game, and then it connects my rooks. And it's just so easy to
yeah,
think that way
I mean,
sometimes.
bishop e6 is still completely winning as well because the knight b4 move is still a very deadly attack against a2. And
Yep.
also the bishop and the queen line up on the knight on b3. Even if the king defends that pawn, you can actually just sack the knight for it because the knight's going to be hanging on b3.
Oh yeah,
So
I just had a line on like bishop e6. It's that second move. Cool. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Bishop e6.
knight before bishop e6, like these are super logical, super natural moves for B Skywalk. He's played the best move, knight b4, and all he's gonna get into a world of hurt here, and he's down on time. I think Skywalk's gonna be able to convert this fairly easily.
Yeah, Ollie is. This is a really tough position to figure out what to do. I don't see any moves really for Ollie. Like maybe bishop c4. Uh, but then the bishop can get pinned. Oh, and you just give up this pawn on a2, right?
Yeah, I mean the
So,
a2 pawn is just hanging right now with check, and then the knight would fall also with check.
but that's why bishop c4. That was my one plan. Just bishop e4, stopping like the bishop to e6 annoyances, and also then I'm trying to defend this knight. um, but I still don't think
Bishop
white.
c4, I'm like, I just want to
Knight
go
takes.
to f5 still and open up the rook to this file. And also the bishop would cut the king off from moving.
Yeah.
Knight takes on a2 would then be actually a checkmate if we can get bishop f5 in. That just goes to show how weak Ollie's king is in the center of the board here. After castling still, but castling queenside, and yeah, a lot of problems, and Ollie's under a minute now.
Yeah, he knows the trouble that he's in. He's trying to probably find the best way to try and retain as much material as possible. But there's a 3 minute advantage for B Skywalk, so I think this is the thing. When we've seen Ollie lose, this is very much the time scenario. It's usually a couple minutes, few minutes left, and he's ticking down because his position has just gotten way out of hand.
Yeah, so I think really the issue in this game was after B Skywalk got in d5, there was really no room for Ollie to be capturing with his king still in the middle. Even though B Skywalk didn't find the most critical bishop h6 tactic to take the most advantage. Yeah, here just knight takes a2. And there's a really gnarly move. Here just queen takes b3, defends the knight, threatens checkmate on b2. But if the king stepped up to c2, then bishop to f5 would have been such a gnarly check. With the rook coming to the c file, the knight would have been lost anyways. But yeah, B Skywalk very much in the driver's seat here, a commanding lead in this position, and he's gonna force OT.
Great.
Just
We gotta
bishop check.
see. We gotta
Okay,
see some
also
blitz.
rookie one. Rookie one would be nice to finish it off. Computer also saying knight c3 is mate.
Yeah.
It's saying bishop takes is going to be mate. Yeah, rookie one definitely.
Easiest way forward.
Yep, there
Yep.
it is.
Great.
There's no king move, so rook d1 and then queen takes b2 is GG. Hopefully B Skywalk can find that. Maybe we tune in. There it is.
That's what we do best, baby. We go to tie breaks. That's just what we do. Only one time have we not done that. Oh,
Okay, I love his energy. He's always so excited.
Yeah, he's so happy, and he's gonna take that energy and
Boys,
momentum
welcome
into the
back,
tie breaks.
chatters.
For sure. So what's happening now is the first game has been put in terms of their accuracy. The second game is going through game review now. And then whoever had the highest accuracy across both games will get white in the tie breaks. It's a 5+0 tie break for anyone who doesn't know, but they play sudden death, so until we have a win.
Best moves, 0 mistakes, 1 miss.
Yeah, we're going into a blitz tiebreak now.
All right, thanks, Mighty Duck. Have a nice day.
We're reviewing who had the highest accuracy score.
So, B Skywalk had highest accuracy across both games, but he had a 66.3% accuracy in game 1 and a huge 90.1% accuracy in game 2, which raised his level a crazy amount. Because Ollie's first game was 76.3, so like 10% higher in terms of accuracy in the first game, but then his second game really let him down with a 61.4. So the players will be getting ready.
Yeah, B Skywalk looking at this bishop h6 line. There's rook e1, gnarly, just winning the queen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Checkmate would have been really pretty. Of course, he won the game anyways, so
So
missing
bad
this
at
is
this.
not as bad.
Yeah, my deck has been in the Twitch chat. He's
Yeah,
always
we're gonna have
saying
another
that
prediction for this
if you're
tiebreak blitz
missing him in
game.
TikTok, that's
So
why. Yeah,
Skywalk's
from
gonna
other
have the
decks,
white
like how he
pieces.
did.
Yep. Skywalker's obviously still analyzing a bit, but I'll use this time to say a shout out to Zebra Looking Guy. Thanks for joining.
Oh.
All right.
All
Well,
right, it says that we are. It turns out. So I'm going to get white.
We are
they
about to
say.
start.
we've
So
got the prediction in the
Um,
chat. 5 minutes to vote.
In the blitz games, I think I had the higher accuracy overall.
Don't dismiss Ollie just yet. We saw him win in that first game.
I would
And
also say he's the favorite in terms of blitz.
I didn't check on my opponent's blitz rating.
Okay,
Hopefully
B
it's not too
Skywalker's
high.
there. I think Ollie is ready, so I'm going to put the match command through, and we
True,
should see
Dom,
moves
very
any second now.
true.
all right, and I do see the games. So let's take a look
Emo only,
over.
please. Here I will set it to that.
And we hear B Skywalk putting the game into his chat into emote only, and the players are off. So we've got another London, and you know what's funny? Ollie won with the black pieces. So even though he doesn't get white here, this might be a better chance for him because of how well he did in that first game.
Yeah, for sure. I think one thing about playing against the London, though, Ollie is super comfortable with his Scandinavian. So if there was a response or a game where it was going to be E4, I would have definitely put money down on Ollie. But I still I like these guys' chances. I think he's coming off with a lot of confidence. He will be reading from that win. He'll be locked in. I think he'll be making moves fairly quickly as well. So hopefully for him, he can just maintain some of that momentum.
Yeah, and actually, I'm not too happy with Ollie's choices here because B Skywalk played his same line, and instead of bringing the bishop back to g6 like he did in the first game, Ollie just traded immediately. So Ollie's the one switching things up here. When if I were Ollie, I'd say, hey, I won with the black pieces. You're the one that really needs to change up how you played with the white pieces. So Ollie's changing it up for B Skywalk already. But maybe that's part of his blitz strategy is to just playing some rapid fire moves here. Bishop and queen lined up on this diagonal. Maybe we're going to see the queen come out to help defend. Maybe just the castle here for white, which is the computer's top choice, actually.
And you can't. So if you castle here, you can't take the pawn on c3 because you will pin the queen to the c file. And then your rook will get rook c8 and you'll pick up a rook. So it looks like a free pawn, but it isn't. It's a poison pawn.
So castling is best here. And I was going to say, even if we do defend the knight is going to come into e4, just adding on another attacker to the pinned piece. But also, using the rook, the a pawn is actually hanging now. So B Skywalk, another opportunity to castle, instead does not. And now black can play this nice queen takes a2, just picking up some material. Does Ollie go for it, though, is the question.
Yep. If Ollie does go for it, I suppose castles, and then you've got to consider what you want to do. Probably just bishop takes, or you run the queen back. But Ollie decides the castle, keeping the tension on the c3 pawn. I kind of don't mind that. I probably would have been greedy and taken on a2, but there's a lot to calculate, and you've got to make sure 100% it's not poison. And in a blitz format, maybe you just don't have the time to try and calculate all of that.
Yeah, castling does add an extra piece, another attacker to the equation, more fuel to the fire. The rook has now opened up and can come to the c file. But this is probably going to be the best opportunity for B Skywalk to castle. Should have castled a little earlier, honestly, but we'll see if he goes for it, because if he delays it anymore, he might get into some more trouble here.
Yeah, I think castling completely natural move. I want my king safe, and then I can work on moves with my pieces. I maybe he's a bit worried about rook c8, but at this point, I don't mind too much about rook c8 after castles.
Knight d2 perhaps is a possibility, but then black might start the trade. So I am curious though.
Yeah, well, I was wondering about knight d2, rook c8. I suppose then I just take on e4 and I pick up the.
Yeah, we would trade knights there. So okay, a3 has been played, and now black can start trading. So yeah, B Skywalk, he just doesn't want a castle, and this is going to cost him a pawn. Obviously, this pawn could have been grabbed earlier, but it's nice to take some material, and obviously rook c8, a move we were anticipating, not even taking the a pawn, but just piling up. Um, and there's really no good way to defend this pawn. So computer
Yep, it's a
saying
backwards pawn,
queen
and
b2.
the d5 pawn just completely restricting any potential forward movement.
I think castle now, bro, right? Like um
This is like, come on.
because otherwise you're just gonna be uncastled and down a pawn. So wow, B Skywalker. Also, look at the clock. I know everyone was thinking Ollie maybe a little worrisome in time pressure, but look at the blitz rating. Actually, Ollie is 300
Yeah,
elo higher than B Skywalk, and he's up 2 minutes more than that.
and this is the thing with Ollie is he is not a slouch if he is in blitz, but when he's playing rapid or another time control, he I don't think he can make the mental switch to change to like faster moves. So in blitz, I think he is very good and he is the favorite, but in rapid, when he gets on low time control, he just can't flick that switch.
I love this man. Ollie's just grabbing that A pawn. That C pawn looking mad juicy as well. And look at these passed outside pass pawns for black. A and B pawns.
Gorgeous.
This is going to be a clinical conversion of the end game if B Skywalk can even get there. I mean, this is not how you want to follow up that huge win from that second game, forcing tie breaks. I really do think B Skywalk might have had better chances if he had black pieces in this tiebreak.
Yeah, 100%. He opts to go queen b1, trying to take the b2 pawn, which
He
I
is going
like.
probably b6 because that c pawn's not going anywhere.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, the b7 pawn, queen b1 to hit b7.
So a counterattack. I mean, black might just grab the c pawn, but queen takes b7, not really the counterplay that you want to afford. So Ollie's got 2 minutes. He's got the time to really just lay the heat and keeping the pressure, right? So don't give any counter chances. Don't give any counterplay. Just push the b pawn.
But so I'm also wondering if there was knight takes c3 looking for knight e2, um, but it doesn't work. I mean, only it works if you do queen takes b7, which was I think was the idea. But yeah,
Okay, now
queen
you can
a6.
take on c3 with the rook. Computer also likes just bringing the knight out, which makes a lot of sense, and that's exactly what Ollie's done. But maybe now white can
Rook
save the c
c4.
pawn for now.
Yeah, I'm happy with rook c4 though. I go, you're never moving that c pawn. It's always gonna be a problem for you. And
Knight
Bito walks on
c4.
5 seconds, so there's no way. Like he
Three,
just
two, one. He's got to move. He's gonna flag.
he's flagged.
Oh my
He's flagged.
goodness!
Damn.
For the championship, and we see a little fist pump from Ollie. Oh,
There we go.
wow, and he's punched his ticket to the finale of the Creator Cup consolation bracket, where he's gonna wait and see who he's gonna play between Gremlin and Blood Queen. Congratulations to Ollie. That was a huge dub.
Yep. Huge dub. And also we finished just in time before the other match starts, so we won't have time to get these guys in on a call because we went to tie breaks and started a little bit late. So the other players will need to get prepped and quite quickly as well, because we're about to see the championship semi-final playoff to see who will play the one and only Agne.
Yeah, that was incredible. Congratulations once again to Ollie for winning in the tiebreak. We see a smile on his face. So yeah, unfortunately, not enough time for an interview because we do have the championship bracket coming up right after this. So don't go anywhere just yet. If you guys thought this was an exciting match, just wait till you see. We've got the brackets to share. Here we see B Skywalk eliminated in the semifinals, Ollie moving on to the finals. And on Tuesday, expect to see Blood Queen versus Gremlin to find out who's going to face off against Ollie. But in the championship bracket, we're about to witness Gilby take on Smoothly, one of the most anticipated matchups of the entire event. The winner moving on to face against Agna in the grand finale. So, buckle up, take a seat, because you're going to want to make sure you're not going to miss this.
I'm so excited for this. Like,
Cannot wait.
I'm crazy. About this because these guys have been playing really well throughout the tournament, and I think I'm hoping it'll be a bit of a brawl. I think Smoothly has been playing some attacking, aggressive chess. He sacked a rook against Agne. He's been going for it and pushing for the wins, so like no holes barred. And then we have Gil, who's been playing just solid. So we're gonna see two styles clash here, and I'm super excited to see which one prevails. I have confirmation from Gilby that he is ready. I'm haven't had confirmation from Z, but I think he was probably there. So if he's streaming, if he's live, it looks like he's in play online. I'm happy to get the games.
Yeah, Smoothly is streaming. We've got both the player cameras, so it looks like they should be ready to go.
Although Z does look like he is in a puzzle at the moment, so I might just drop in his Twitch chat as well, just to give him a little nudge.
And the organizers have to be really resourceful in different ways of how to reach out to everyone. You know, some people, they only respond over Discord or email or chess.com messages or even Twitch whispers sometimes. Like, shout out to everyone that's helping put everything together behind the scenes. And shout out to the players, of course. We've got Zach and Gil both ready and on time. We've got another prediction in the chat, so congratulations to the Ollie believers putting those points home and getting rewarded. But now we've got another match on our hands, Smoothly versus Gilby. And I know not only Agni is tuning in, anticipating this. We already got some points for Smoothly. I might have spelled his name wrong, but that's okay because we all know who that is. Shout out to Smoothly and Gilby, both currently live right now. And yeah, who's gonna put some points up for Gilby? Or is Smoothly the favorite? I know Agnet wants to face off against Smoothly, but interestingly, the loser is still gonna play again, but in the third place match. And Agni's opponent yesterday, Max, who lost, actually said that they also want to play against Smoothly. So maybe they're rooting for Gilby here in the semifinals, uh, because apparently Gilby has Max's number, but Gilby doesn't want to play Max. Gilby wants to move on to the finals and play against Agni. So who's it gonna be?
So I think both players are ready, and they're gonna start when it turns in 1 minute essentially. So we are ready to see moves start coming in.
Yeah, Smoothly, he's over 2,000 rapid and has a slight rating advantage, but he can't put Gilby out just yet. He's adjusting his camera. Looks like Zach's got a nice furry coat on. Very comfortable, of course, rocking the cat ears as always, and it looks like the game has just begun.
Your friendly cat boy, your local neighborhood cat boy is as always playing. All right, so we're kicking off, and we see D4 from Gil. I can't even remember what he plays. I wonder if we're going to see a London.
Okay, the ratings just swapped. It's Gilby over 2000 now and Smoothly at 1982.
Oh
So
yeah, so yeah, Smoothly was. Is he not seeing the moves?
he's refreshing.
Smoothly did
There it
get
is.
over 2K.
All right, well,
There
we've
we
got
go.
30-second time odds from Smoothly that could be in Gilby's benefit here. So let's see if he can take advantage of that.
And we get a Dutch defense. Wow. So this should be a really fun kind of attacking game. I think Smoothly's game plan is probably to play something that's potentially a bit sharper, maybe take Gil out of his comfort zone. I think that was one thing we did see with his match against B-Sky, that it was a little bit, and against Crash as well, actually. The position was a little bit more messy. And Gil didn't do as well as we've seen him in other games in positions that I think he's just more comfortable with.
Yeah, we see some trades. Bishop on g5 is now questioned by the h pawn. Do you take the knight or do you retreat? And looks like Gilby retreats, but the computer is already giving a slight edge towards black's position here.
I have a feeling that Smoothly or Zach has really been thinking about his opening choice here. I don't think I've seen a Dutch from him so far, and I think he has come in with a game plan, which is something I can't say the same for Gil. He's chilling whenever he plays. He's just doing his thing. So I think Zach might have some good preparation here because he's also really gunning to win this. He's probably been the most dedicated, I think, out of everyone that I've seen so far in terms of he gets locked in, he's quiet, he doesn't want to talk when he streams, he just wants to play his best chess.
Respect.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of dedication and intensity that's needed to make it this far in the Creator Cup.
So White's got this sort of damaged pawn structure. So for the long term, the question is, can you try and nullify your weakness with something like c5? Because this pawn on c4 is just actually kind of useless. It is covering d5, uh, which a knight could hop into at a later point in time, but I don't like it's blocking my bishop. I wouldn't mind having bishop c4 in the future. And also I've always got the c4 the c pawn behind it. So even though I'm pushing c5, I can always push c4 to kick out the potential the knight on a potential d5 as well. But that's just me. It's probably some horrendous pawn uh, pawn imbalance, but you do end up, if the pawns all trade off, with a very similar pawn structure, just black has doubled isolated pawns.
Yeah, C5 was the top computer line, but that is kind of a computer line, so it makes sense that Gilby didn't play it. I certainly don't know if I would have found it or played it, just throwing that pawn to the wolves there, but really kind of messing up that structure. So now knight to d7 kind of helps reinforce the c5 square. Computer no longer suggesting it. But an
I mean,
interesting idea to keep in the back pocket for sure.
I would still probably want to go for it because I just hate this, like my doubled pawns, and I would rather make my opponent damage their pawn structure and then leave my pawns or like if they ever take my c pawn, then I can just leave also my c pawn on c3, and I can choose to push it if the knight comes in, or I can take in the center, and if they ever want to take on d4 to try and undamage my pawn structure.
Yeah, for sure.
But again, I don't know if that's the right follow up. So I don't know if the computer agrees with that with that specific follow up. There may be some tactical reason.
Yeah, who really knows what the computer is thinking. Um, but C5, I definitely agree is a move to try to stir up some trouble, try to ruin the pawn structure. But I think for now, Gilby's probably content with just having the doubled C pawns there. I think maybe there's some prep work that needs to be done in the positions. So, for example, he just castled kingside, which I think is super solid.
Yeah.
Just following through with the development, and I think maybe the queen would want to develop somewhere. before we start pushing pawns. Maybe the rooks want to get in the center. And wow, smoothly going on the attack, on the offensive,
This is what I
opting
want to
not to
see.
castle, playing g5, attacking the bishop, posing a question, and uh, yeah, he's bringing the heat here.
And he hasn't committed to castling either side, and he's just gained all the space. And white is cramped. It's rare that you see white get so cramped in openings as well. The question is what's the continuation? Like, how do you want to keep building this up for black? How do I get my other pieces in the game? I wouldn't be so too sure. I mean, I like queen e7 so I can long castles and then get my rook to the g file. That would be my general plan. Try and get more pieces to push these pawns and break down the white king.
Yeah, black definitely wants to castle long after this g5 pawn push, because your king would be pretty weak on the king side, but Smoothie's not going to go king side. He's attacking on the king side, using those pawns, pushing the white pieces back, and he can either continue by pushing those pawns, or, as you mentioned, queen e7, getting rid of castle long. Super solid choice there. I think that really kind of just plays itself, bringing all the rooks over to that king side and giving Gilby a lot to think about on how to even continue without just getting blown off the board on the king side there.
It feels like it could be tempting to make a pawn push here as well. 94 I actually like as well. I didn't really see that, but that makes sense. Again, pulling your pieces in. Um, bishop takes, and you've got this great outpost on e4, which Gilby's thought about, and he goes, right, I'm going to contest this outpost. Uh,
Bishop
but
d3 is
oh
interesting,
wow, yeah,
attacking the rook and also putting pressure on that doubled c pawn. But the knight does defend it for now. But what's annoying is you can't really attack this bishop without moving the knight. Um, Bishop d3 though is a little awkward. You're kind of getting in behind enemy lines, but you might also have to worry about getting that bishop trapped at some point.
yeah. That's the thing I'm actually really scared of is getting that bishop trapped. But like you say, the more I'm looking at it, the harder it is to attack the bishop without losing material. And you can't even go like rook b1 if you wanted to try and activate this rook on the b file. Like it's kind of perfectly placed now. Uh, Zach opts to give up the bishop for the knight, which is understandable, but I think that piece was just such a good piece. Wow. Smoothly decides to push f3, which is crazy to me because I'd be like, I'm getting that bishop off the board. I don't care if the knight gets to e4 because I could always push f3 at a later date.
Yeah, well, he's played f3. This also helps give some space for the bishop. I know the bishop might have been feeling a little cramped with so many pawns up nearby, but yeah, interesting decisions from both players. I think Gilby should bring the queen into the equation somewhere on the queen side. You got to check, of course, but no, just rookie one, and still, I think the queen and castling very solid choices. But maybe Smoothly is actually a little worried about giving counterplay to Gilby, who can
Yeah.
start a queen side attack.
I mean this is so chat was saying someone in chat was saying if Gil finds f3 he knows what he's doing. Gil played f3 so apparently he knows what he's doing, so so obviously there is some sense of Gil fighting back here. He's also starting to activate his pieces now. Rookie 1 I really like, lining up with the king, trying to take advantage of the fact that Z hasn't castled. Maybe he starts striking in the center as soon as he can, and he does.
What's up,
And
Farzy? Shout out to Farzy tuning in all the way from Singapore. Probably the craziest time zone difference of anyone in the chat, but if it's later than 4 or 5 a.m., let us know.
so f4, pushing the bishop back. My thing is it's starting to get a bit locked down. Like I don't understand what the breakthroughs are right now. I mean, e5 is the only break that I see just because the knight is on f6. But otherwise, I'd be tempted to move move the knights to e5 can be followed up by d5 maybe, but then also you do have these doubled pawns on the c file, so you can attack it again if you ever push d5 uh, and take. So I'm actually now kind of struggling to see what Z's plan should be. Maybe Queen e7 along castle still.
Yeah,
I've now pulled back from my attack.
look at the time Smoothly is spending here. 4.5 minutes to 7.5 minutes. Finally goes Queen e7, something that I
Yep.
think we really wanted to see a while ago, a handful of moves ago, to get queenside castled. Because if you already had a rook in the equation, then I feel like black would be very comfortable just trying to push the pawns down white's throat. G4 would be a strong idea, but I think didn't quite work there because there's all these counterattacks like e5 or bishop h4, pressure on the knight, and that's exactly what we see here. E5 played, and really kind of honing in on the e6 pawn as a potential weakness. If the e file opens, rook takes looks really annoying. So I like this move a lot from Gilby, and you can sort of sense Smoothly's positional advantage from earlier is kind of dwindling down a little bit.
Yeah, I'm worried for the time here because Gilby has been blitzing out. Apparently, this isn't a great move according to the eval bar, but I'm trying to figure out why specifically. Probably just you isolate your pawn, and the king is still in the center, so it's actually kind of pinned, and d5 blocks the light squared bishop.
Believe it or not, the move it wants now. Oh, it was saying c5. Now it's saying d5, which makes like so much sense. Just going after the e
Oh,
pawn.
yeah. Wait, c5? Does c5? I don't.
I was
C5
thinking like the knight could get into
BC.
c4, or yeah, you could just take twice, or no. Anyways, d5 played, and
Oh,
big question here for Smoothly. He might just castle long. No, he pushes the pawn, and now knight e4 is a monster move, just hitting that
yeah.
queen. And yeah, I
Queen
could see.
g6 feels Uh, Queen g6 felt natural to me because then you're also lining up on the king. You're trying to
Ooh,
say I can also attack, but what's the
this looks like a strong
issue?
move. The computer then wanted c5. Um,
Uh,
I don't even know why, like honestly. Like takes, bishop
Bishop
takes,
takes
pawn takes, and
queen.
then d6 it wanted,
So
but
the eval bar is swinging back and forth a little bit here. I mean, this is complicated stuff, but
takes knight
um,
takes.
Gilby does have some time to think about
But
this.
he goes
So
d6 immediately, and the computer said that was a missed opportunity because it wanted queen to e6, saying that all is fine there, but not
I don't
found.
know.
Queen
I don't
d8,
see.
and now again, it likes c5 a lot. It likes taking on c7.
Maybe c5 to open up the b file, right? So like c5 takes, uh, and then you're looking for rook b1 potentially.
Yeah, I think it's a little deep, but I think taking on c7 and playing knight d6 check is kind of a no-brainer. So Gilby does that, and now he just needs to find knight d6, and Smoothly's gonna have to go uncastled. You can't go to d8 because you're gonna get forked. Knight to f7, and after knight d6, what else is there? King e7. There's
Knight b5, just attacking the queen, and then you've got some
oh,
pressure.
that is very annoying. I was looking, there's even like knight f5 check. Looks like Smoothie's got an ad running on his. uh, okay, knight d6 played. Oh, happy birthday to Farzi's mom. Very
Oh, no
sweet.
way! Very happy birthday.
And happy belated birthday to Magnus Carlsen, the chess goat.
Oh yeah, should have said happy birthday to the old MC. You know, how could I
Dude,
forget?
look at how leaned in Gilby is. Maybe we can get a closer look.
Okay, now he's in calculation mode. He knows there's like something. This is the most focused I've seen him. And they've swapped. So Z is an ad, and Gil is no ads. Were there predictions for this game?
Yeah, I put a prediction in chat, but I don't think anyone voted besides for
Uh,
Smoothly.
What do I play after? Yeah.
Okay, he's looking. The king has stepped up, so this is a great position for white, but he has to convert. Knight b5, as you called it. There's also knight takes b7, apparently, but I'm not sure if I want to do that trade.
Maybe.
He's rocking out with the music. Okay, he does trade, but what's the follow-up? Apparently queen c2.
Oh, really? I was looking at like queen b3.
I don't see what's wrong.
Well, he
Oh,
goes
queen c2.
here, but now queen c7 defends the pawn. Yeah, the computer's giving me this double question mark.
What's the idea behind queen c2? Is it just infiltration? Are you trying to get like the queen into like f5?
Gave him. I let him make it a game basically. I feel like
Yeah, he's not happy with himself.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't feel like he's made the best choice. Maybe we can listen into Smoothly and see if he's able to calculate.
Smoothly, I can tell you, isn't saying a word. He hasn't for any of the games. He's
okay.
like full focus.
He's
mode.
not found queen c7 yet. That is the best defense. Okay, he's played it.
He plays it.
He's just immediately played it, and the computer. I don't think Gilby's gonna play this move. The computer wants h4. Yeah, not happening.
Unless you'll just go like all of my pieces are in the best place they can be. I mean, this rook on a1 probably not, but I would maybe rook a2 would be a potential idea. Looking for a rook e2, trying to just put pressure on this pawn.
Before bishop d4, the computer wanted queen c2, and I think it's to get to this f5 square. And we see Gilby bring the queen up, but now king f6, and that's going to unpin the e-pawn and put pressure on d4 again. Love this music, by the way, from Smoothly.
But I mean, the bishop's still hanging, but is it completely hanging?
Is it completely hanging? Is the question here.
Yeah.
How hanging is hanging, truly.
Yeah.
No, honestly, Gilby had a fantastic. Okay, here's your question answered. Queen e4 trying to double up, but I think the rook is going to come to the e file, and then the bishop will actually be hanging, and we'll have to retreat to f2.
And you can't take the bishop if people haven't spotted it, because you have queen e7 forcing the king to queen f5, the king to f5, and then you have a mate with queen e6. Now, actually, this is given a brilliant move by the engine, the queen e4 move, which I'm there for. Rightfully spotted, Smoothly doesn't fall for the trap and goes rook e8, forcing the bishop back or bishop out.
But man, what an incredible start to this match. We've got both players having their chances and opportunities, and now we found ourselves in a fairly even position where Black's king is a little bit randomly placed in the middle of the board, but White has these pretty bad isolated doubled c pawns. We might see a trade of the bishop for the knight here, or we might also see the queen dropping back to like e2 or something. So we do see the trade. Queen takes with check. King's going to go in the corner. You might have back rank issues down the line. I wouldn't be surprised if both players try to put some pressure on the d file. But this queen really showing why White's pawns are so weak.
Yeah, and the thing is with Black, and the why I think White has a slight edge is just Black has a backwards pawn, and there's always going to be pressure on it, despite the pawn structure for White probably being kind of also hard to maintain. But I mean, both positions have their weaknesses, so it's pretty even. I don't think there's one huge weakness over another. But White has decided to give up the a3 pawn potentially. Can we just snap that off? Can we be greedy?
No,
No.
because e5 is now a huge target because black going for the open d file alleviates the defense by moving that rook that was guarding e5. The computer actually preferred rook b1 to get to b5. That would have been a lights out move. This allows for black to potentially trade along the d file. Now I'm wondering, can we play rook d5?
Right now?
Yeah, there it
Ooh.
is. On the board, trade, that's going
And
to help alleviate the doubled pawns and put more pressure on the e pawn and create a pass pawn. But the computer says this is a dead draw after. I'm surprised Gilby hasn't taken this thing yet.
because queen takes c3 is still covering the e pawn. So although it deals
Oh,
like pawn takes, queen takes c3 is still protecting that pawn.
well, he still has to do it. Oh, he takes with the queen, but now after the queen trade, computer says they're just completely winning for black. Trade, and now what's the idea? Rook
Rook c8
c8.
surely.
Rook
Gotta be.
c8. And next up, if you defend the c pawn, probably rook c4. Keep the pawn. Now you can play c4. So we have a rook and pawn endgame, but this is definitely favorable for white. Or sorry, black, because the king
And
is
now
just
you can
much more
push, yeah,
active.
b5,
Ah,
easy,
b5. Yeah, that's
easy.
gonna be GG. So c4 wasn't working, and shout out to Smoothly for finding this endgame. That's why he needed to give up that c pawn and just take with the pawn. Instead, he took with the queen, going into a losing rook and pawn endgame. So really nice endgame conversion technique here from Smoothly. Gilby, you can see the confusion on his face, kind of realizing, ooh, this is not good. So he's going to be losing both these pawns, actually, after rook takes. You're not going to want to keep or trade the rooks. So if you maybe play rook d1
And then you've got rook d4,
or just
because you're
rook
protected.
c5 here even,
Yeah.
yeah, no, this is going to be an easy conversion for Smoothly. He's going to take game 1 here.
Yeah, I don't see it. I know people say like rook endgames are drawn, but this is just that there's so everything in black's position is going well. They're going to be down 2 pawns. Holding this, unless there's some miracle, you need to get active with your rook. And g3 may be attempting this, but you can kind of just ignore it.
Yeah, I think G3 just trying to open stuff up, but I think that gives some light to why H4 was a move earlier, because then you can try
mm,
to, take on G5, try to put the rook on the H file and stir up some trouble, but yeah, Smoothly is absolutely just dominating in this position.
and all the pawns are going. There's no there's no way for white to hold on to all of their pawns. I don't really see a huge. I mean, pawns can trade off, but at the end of the day, I
Oh
mean,
my
wow.
goodness.
Okay,
Rook
apparently this
A5 is a
is.
draw. So some work to be done still. And I'm kind of curious to see Gilby punish Smoothly. No, he doesn't do it. Now just F3. F3 Smoothly. Push that pawn.
He's having a think though, because it is worrying. Like if one of these pawns, black pawns, drops.
Oh, it likes Rook A5
Yeah,
again.
but rook a5. Okay, well maybe now you just go king c6 if rook
Y-
a5 was going to be the problem, but apparently
Now
no.
you need Rook H4. Wait, the computer's like being all weird now. Rook A5, yeah, wow, and he's found it. This is incredible. This is absolutely insane
I thought this was
smoothly.
going to be like this
I
is
thought he had it
crazy.
in the book, but bro got sloppy, and he's got to revisit his rook and pawn endgames.
Allowing g5 to go to fall was probably like, although maybe you had
Well,
to, who
allowing the
knows.
B pawn fall, I think, is really where it started going downhill, right? So rook check, and he just
Rook e4.
grabbed, like, why not just play A6 right here, Or or a computer also likes g4, king c. Like, just hold on to the b pawn because it's not so
Yeah,
much about the b pawn; it's about the activity that that rook gets.
and you
Right,
can't
takes a
stop
pawn,
King
and this is the
G3 now.
biggest blunder. Rook a5. So let's go back to the live position here, and
Wow.
yeah, that's a draw.
So I mean, this is more entertaining than the Chess World Championship right now. Not gonna lie. Like, this is huge. This is crazy. That both sides were completely winning at one point. So, very evenly matched. Both missing certain ideas. Being low on time as well. Z fought back really well. So, I'm really excited to see what happens when they switch colors. I think Z came in prepared with an opening, got what he wanted, and then Gilby turned it on and managed to hold as well after Zach got it back. So huge defense from Gilby, I think.
That's a
Yeah,
huge
he kinda got
draw.
lucky.
Gilby saying he got lucky here, but give himself some credit. He fought
But oh my god.
down in a much worse
I
position to
mean, I'm
hold it
lucky
to
to
a
get a
draw.
draw there. We
And
gotta win.
if you're
It's
smoothly,
bad.
you gotta be worried because if you don't convert that,
Yeah, I mean,
you might end up
it
losing
was
in the
he should
second
have won
game
that.
and losing the match.
No, it was a draw. I should have won that. Well, I should have won, then I should have lost. So a good fair result. But
Agna, thank you so much for the 200 bits to both me and Matt. That's so nice
No
of you.
way! Thank you so much.
we just both didn't play
Oh,
well.
that's made my day. Thanks.
Yeah, I
I
really appreciate that.
yeah, it really I don't know. I always find it like really crazy when people like give bits or do like any donations or anything like that. It's mental. Thank you so much. You've been a joy to have on the Creator Cup, and I cannot wait to see you in the final next weekend.
Yes, and Agna is here scouting out the future competition. We just saw a draw in the first game, and we're about to see the second game starting soon with
Yep,
Gilby and
30
Smoothly.
seconds.
30 seconds, folks. We're going to start another prediction. I think Fly was the only one that bet on the first one, and I think if I put it as a draw, I don't know if he would get his points back, but I'm just going to delete it and refund the points. And hopefully we get some more predictors in this second prediction here. Who's going to
And
win?
thanks, Farzi. And he also says, I love you. He cheered a bit. So, Farzi, much appreciated. I got you, man. I got you. Okay, and the game is about to start, and we see an instant E4 from Smoothly.
All right. Well, the game has started. The players are
Thanks,
off.
man.
And yeah, I don't know. Smoothly looks completely unfazed, but I feel like he's got to have some nerves, knowing that his in-game technique cost him a crucial point. So there's even more pressure on the line in this game, because otherwise he'd have missed his opportunity. So yeah, I'm curious. Who do you think is going to take this one, Smoothly with the white pieces, or Gilby getting lucky after that first game?
I I want to say Smoothly. I think he will lock in after that, and I love how aggressive he's being. So it could come back to bite him, but I do think his game plan is good. And I think him being aggressive and playing in a non-compromising way, again, will just put pressure on Gil, and he has to work to get out of it. But that said, there's something here. Gil smoothly just castles, which is apparently a mistake, and I'm trying to figure out why. Gil snaps off f3, which the engine seems to like and thinks I think is a
Oh,
great move. So what's gone on?
bishop c5 check, and he finds it. Oh my
Oh,
goodness. This could spell disaster. Knight f2, he gives up the exchange. Smoothly's playing lightning fast, but he doesn't even care. He's threatening f7 right now. He's picked up a pawn for the exchange. Smoothly's just playing as if he calculated all of this, and he's totally fine with it. Unfazed. Look at his face. Not
yeah.
even flinching.
And he blitzed through those moves, those in response really quickly. So Is this potentially any form of line? I don't think so.
I think
No.
he might not be showing any emotion, but I do think that he's a little bit rattled and phased after that first game that he totally had in the bag and completely botched the end game for. And now
Yeah.
I think you might even be seeing a version of tilt here, with just how crazy fast he's played and already dropped in exchange. But it's far from over. He can maybe take advantage of that pawn that he took in the center. Maybe he can take on c6 and damage the pawns, get the queen out to f3, maybe win another pawn.
Yeah.
But maybe bishop d4 is going to be just good enough to get this e pawn back. So I definitely think Gilby has a huge advantage here already in the second game, and he looks a little
Yeah.
confused as well.
Yeah, maybe because Smoothly did play the move so quickly, Gilby might be a little bit cautious just in case.
My apologies to everyone. We flipped the board. It's Smoothly with the white pieces, Gilby with the black pieces.
Yeah, sorry everybody. That's
That's
one
fine.
side of tech.
Okay, so queen f3 played, hits the bishop. I think bishop d4, definitely the move. I mean, you could also just go all the way back to b6 if you want, but I think d4 makes a lot of sense, putting the most pressure on white's pieces. You go back to b6, and I think white will just be happy to trade off the
Now,
bishop
is
for
there
knight.
like a sneaky knight e4, queen d5, knight f6 kind of ideas coming in? Are we going to see some like cheapo tactics trying to come our way?
What's your idea? Knight e4 and what?
Knight e4, queen takes d5,
Oh
and you
no.
lose the queen. Yeah,
Yeah,
oh
I
no, my
mean,
queen.
I think
Unlikely.
black would be happy to just take the e pawn.
Yeah, yeah.
So okay, takes. C pawn is hanging, E pawn is hanging. But like, yeah, this bishop needs to come out, right? White needs to play d3 is the problem. So
Okay.
Smoothly continuing, I think, with a little bit of tilt, bringing the queen in, and now he needs to play d3 again.
And he's picked up a pawn. There is a damaged pawn structure. The problem is
You're
with
down in
doing this,
exchange.
you open up the board for the rooks to be as active as they can be. And if you're down in exchange, you want to limit the open files. And this position is not limited for the open files at all. Rook e8 is a simple idea. The king is on h1, so there's huge background problems to deal with.
Agnes saying this is like GG almost, saying she's not going to get a chance at her revenge. Well, we saw Zach kind of throw his end game. Maybe Gilby counter throws, but unlikely. I do agree he's the favorite, and that is exactly what the prediction is telling us as well. Gilby is the favorite here in this game. You can look at the eval bar to see for yourself. Computer actually gives Gilby a 100% accuracy so far this game, so absolutely no mistakes, absolute
Huge.
perfection so far.
Yeah.
Smoothly, he's burning some time. Yeah, he played this kind of like it was a blitz game, but man, there's so much time in these rapid formats. You can't really afford to be getting this big of a disadvantage this early on into the game.
Yeah. It's just a shame, and it's really crushing when you come out of an opening and there is a tactic and you're just down 0.
Oh no, man. Yeah, he's moving pieces already developed. This is really such a basic beginner mistake, right? Queen h4. Gilby played that so fast. And now just bishop takes g3. I mean, this is like you gotta get the pieces out,
Tilt,
man. Like
tilt is real.
there were no pawn pushes at all.
Tilt is real.
Queen g2,
I
rook
feel.
e8 is
Yeah.
just like what is knight b5? Smoothly is so tilted.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Gilby not quite. That's his first inaccurate move. Brings him down to 99.3% with that, and that gives Gilby or Smoothly an opportunity to finally get this bishop out.
Yeah. Wow.
There's one check. Queen g1 forced and trading queens off. I mean, computer doesn't even want to trade queens, honestly, but he does. And there's really like just not a lot of hope here for those Moodley fans, unfortunately.
The only good thing is he can probably try and prolong the game for a tiny bit, but it's just tough because even like Bishop D2, Rook E2, and
Yeah, that's brutal. Because if
yeah,
you go to like G5, I mean, probably, I mean, I don't know, dude. This is a wash. Rook's gonna come into E2 no matter what, pretty much. I guess the king could step over, but you're gonna drop another pawn.
maybe you go knight D4, but then you just put the bishop on on
Yeah, computer
C5.
wants to take that bishop, but the damage is done. This is gonna be a Gilby versus Agna finals, I think.
I'm so gutted that this didn't.
He's just allowing rookie one.
Yeah,
That knight before b5 move cost him so much. He's brought the knight straight back. And this is not as smoothly at his best. He's smoothly a
no,
strong player. He's a great streamer, an entertainer, and a coach. And this is not what he would be coaching his students to play like. This is tilt. I think, I think if he slowed down in that first game and just played that rook endgame a little slower, I
yeah,
think he would
he'd
have
be up a point
he
going
probably
into
would have
this.
converted that game, and I think he would have calmed his nerves a little bit. I think he looked at their game review, and I think that really planted the seeds of just how big of an opportunity he missed, and he really let it carry over into the second game. This is not his best performance.
Yeah, it's a shame because he throughout the tournament he's been playing incredibly well as well, and this is uh the first loss he will actually have at all. He whitewashed his opponents in the group stage, and every game subsequently he has won in the knockouts. I don't think he even took anything to tie breaks. I might be misremembering that, but yeah, so far he's been getting better and better, and this is the first and only game I've seen him sort of collapse, really.
Well, this game is not over yet, but we've got some really nice moves here
Yeah,
from Gilby, just winning another exchange. Like, yeah, this is two exchanges now. Um, he's gonna
and there's
get,
no way to protect these horns, so well calculated because like you've got three connected passes, so that there's potential, but there's
yeah.
nothing. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's gonna start demolishing all of these pawns with his rooks. There's a loose bishop. If the knight can't move either, really, to anywhere that's gonna be useful.
Uh, this is really a dream position for Gilby. I do want to say, don't take this H pawn. uh, who knows? That position might still be good for black, honestly.
And I mean,
Probably
I
not,
do
but I
like
mean,
Zach's got one plan, and it's the D pawn. So, but I'm wondering if there's even a world where you might be able to sack for it.
yeah,
But
there's you're gonna see why rooks are better than minor pieces. They just have more mobility, more options, and as you called, sacrifices, right? I feel like you should just take the B pawn, because why not? Or like even rook C8 looks really beautiful.
Yomi's doing the right thing and using his time though. Just in case, just checking that the D pawn hasn't got a free channel through. You are covering the promotion square and also the D5 square, which is a little bit annoying at the moment. So whatever Kilby does, D5 is probably coming next. And uh, well, still, I mean, Rook takes B2, D5, and then is Rook C8 annoying? Uh, D6. Can you get away with that? So he's probably just calculated this line to see. Or maybe even D5, you don't even bother Rook C8. You just go Rook C2 and you threaten the knight.
Yeah, I would go rook C2 for sure. You don't want to hang a piece, right? Especially not with check. but there are a few moves that white has. If you move the knight, you defend the bishop, but then a6 is going to kick the knight out, and then you're going to be winning material. So probably the best move is going to involve moving the bishop back to defend the knight. But still, not a happy position to be in here, because again, you could double up the rooks on the c file.
I do see those moves on the board.
You could also see the king entering into the equation, just keeping an eye over the d pawn. I did like rook c8 a little bit better than taking on b2 because we did allow the pawn to get to d5. But shouldn't be an issue at all for Gilby Fish.
Not a chance. Yeah.
What's up, Oscar? Thanks for tuning in. We might want to take a look into Gilby's stream and see what he's thinking.
There's a freaking bishop.
He's starting to laugh and smile. You can feel the victory.
Here we go. Take,
and now he can just threaten rook c8. I don't know what he's calculating. I can't hear him, but I'm assuming he's looking at rook c8, and then you can potentially even just trade everything.
Well, now I can take there, right?
I think he's going to take on h2. Kind of unnecessary, but also not a big deal.
This should be fine.
Now I'm wondering, I mean, I would probably just still try and play d5. I'd push that pawn at all costs. It's the only thing.
d6. I'm thinking the king's gonna, or the rook's gonna get to d2.
And then I'm thinking like knight e4, rook d3.
We just bring the rook over here, we get it up to d7, and we bring the king over, and it's GG's. I get rid of the knight.
Oh, rook h5 also looks annoying because you pin the pawn to the bishop.
You don't do
oh, that is annoying. Yeah, it's like it's quite nice when you are in a position like this and you're just trying to find like some ridiculously annoying moves despite everything.
Do you say okay? He might actually sack an exchange back, and you'll still be up in exchange and
he's
a
got
ton of pawns.
Pluses. Yeah, there's no problems here.
And then we're gonna play d8.
This is kind of a funny conversion here from Gilby, but being the artist that he is, he gets to choose his path to success.
It's gotta work, right? I mean, just
I can't even find ways for white, for black to lose this, really.
So computer actually did like this exchange sacrifice best, getting the annoying knight, the tricky knight off the board.
And you just get the rook on d7. If the I'm assuming bishop b4 or king e4.
We can literally.
Yeah, king f8, king e8.
Yeah.
And he's looking at it. Yep, he's played it.
And then we just have to get it over here. Why am I making it so fudging difficult, though?
I still can't find a way.
You still hear some frustration. But I mean, he's got to give him some credit.
No, it's really not difficult.
Yeah, he's getting some more confidence here. Smoothly, he's looked like a statue this whole match.
Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes playing through as well to the end like is good because he knew he was lost early on, right? So
yeah, I mean,
it's tough, but he's playing through. He's got the pawn.
I mean,
he knows
if he plays there
probably not happening, but yeah,
if he plays,
it's his only thing. And the thing is, even if you sack the rook, even if you get the pawn or get the king to c6, which looks kind of dangerous, you just have rook c8, and you can pick up the bishop and then sack the rook for the pawn later.
If I would just play f6 after king c6, right, and then
tune back into Gilby.
Yeah, that should be fine, right?
See his calculations.
Maybe.
But also, yeah, it's It's a little annoying. Like king c6.
Well, that's what I'm saying. King
Probably
c6,
just
rook
go.
c8, and you can step the king wherever you want.
So
You
king
take the bishop,
c6.
and then you just go rook to the
Oh,
d-file and sack the rook for the
Bishop
pawn
that
will
later.
steps into the
go-
skewer.
do I-
That's right. So he steps the bishop up, going after the
do I
a
play
pawn.
here? Oh, what the heck is this? What is this?
Do you play rook d7? I think what's annoying is king c6 there. If you play the king to e8, defending the rook, you're losing the g pawn, right? Bishop takes g7.
Then I might just push h5.
Then yeah, maybe you're not too worried.
Like, I mean that if like if that is inaccurate, then you know there's ways you can probably slowly.
Okay, he's giving up the a pawn.
Wow.
Interesting.
So that line where I just said I just push the h pawn, like bishop takes g7, push the h pawn. Suddenly it gets a bit more drawish. It's only a tiny advantage for black. I mean, you'd have to play so well as white though.
We just play rook to a8.
Like, I'm wondering if we even just straight up sack the rook for that d pawn, would we still be winning with the 3 pawns? But I don't. You obviously don't want to risk the draw.
No. Oh, maybe you do.
Oh,
like,
Gilby's saying GG's.
Okay. When Gilby says it's GG's, it's GG's.
I don't know.
But you do allow king e6 now. So. Oh.
The computer, it's
What?
fighting back. Bishop takes a7.
Oh, you got your own passer though. That is
I
a thing.
mean, holy smokes, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere just yet. This is still winning for black, clearly. But talk about some sloppy conversion.
Is there a world of like bishop b6 and you can push the pawn to promotion?
The computer wants h5. Just send it.
Oh. I mean, you're faster, right? Because white's behind. Like white can't promote that pawn as quickly. Okay, so
I mean,
didn't want
yeah,
the
this looks
shenanigans.
totally fine as like, I don't know. I think computer just had a moment.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But you could hear Gilby's get a little stressed. Smoothly's zoning in a little bit. He's getting his face a little closer.
And it's gonna be hard for the king to move, but it's just where do you put this bishop? I would imagine bishop d4 might be a thought, or like because you're worried about these 3 pawns because they just need to be pushed, but I don't see a way we can stop them. Bishop
Oh my
b6
god,
also...
it says h5 is the only move. Otherwise, it's a draw. Because bishop c7, and then the a pawn just runs. Your rook's cooked.
Yeah, but
he has to play h5.
I mean, but it's a very findable move, right? Because you can't push the g pawn, you can't push the f pawn, and you go right. Everything's locked in. The only move, surely, that you can play is just h5.
Oh, he's played f5, a4. Oh my god.
Oh my god, this is nuts.
We're gonna see tiebreak.
No way, no fucking way. I can't believe this. I actually can't, and that's
wait. Now bishop d4 is the only drawing move. No. That's no way he finds that.
No, I can't believe that.
Surely he's gonna play a5. Oh, but the move is rook f6. That's why you need bishop d4.
What?
What is this in game? Smoothly under a minute. Is he gonna find bishop d4? What a cold move if he does.
No. You push a5. You're trying to calculate what's going on, but you also have to play rook f6.
No.
No, but rook f6 is the only move. Like
yeah, well, he found it. He played the check.
Wow.
Yeah, if you see rook f6, that's how you find bishop d4.
But can you not go?
No, it's
bishop
over.
c7 now? Oh no, the king's too close.
a7's the threat, but then he can get the rook to a8.
This is on
But
a
the king,
rook square.
the king's too close as well. I think you can just.
What?
Can you just take
Bishop?
the
He
king?
allowed bishop b8.
Oh my
It's a draw
god!
again. Gilby through with this one last trick. Smoothly, he's not giving
Oh
up. He's
my
brought it back.
god!
And you can see the look of shock on Gilby's face. He can't believe it. Oh my god.
What am I doing?
Like, the
dude.
flip of the game, like this was the fight back. Like we had it from Gilby getting out of it lucky last time, but
Bro. I
see,
can't
mean,
believe
it's
this.
still dangerous. It's still dangerous though.
Dude,
Like,
I think Zach's gonna checkmate him, bro. I think he could just straight up win.
so
F2, queen,
yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh
and
yeah,
he can't afford the queen. He has to give rook
No, he
f5
can't.
check. Rook f5 check is the only move that draws.
Oh my god. I think he might.
Gilby's
'Cause
gonna
you're
lose.
getting mated anyway, right? Yeah, you're just getting mated if you.
Dude. Look at his face. Gilby can't believe it. Smoothie's gonna have the biggest comeback of all time.
And Smoothly playing on through the whole game as well.
Okay, Smoothly
Like,
sees the rook f5 check, actually. He's calculating it.
okay.
But does Gilby see it? Gilby's only move. Give a
The
check.
thing is, if he thinks he's losing anyway, then he's gonna see that he's got to see that the queen promotion is a way out.
And even if he finds rook f5 check to queen with check, he still has to find the perpetual.
What is the perpetual?
I don't know, man. It's gonna be an impossible task.
It takes so
Okay,
much time
wow.
to do that.
Gilby fighting on still. He's found the move.
Yeah. Crazy. Oh, and apparently, you just go a cool like king d4 here.
I mean,
Because
you
you're
could
threatening
go.
mate.
You can go king e4. You can go king d4, which he's done. Now rook f4 check. Again, an only move.
Wow.
Incredible game.
I'm just gonna repeat. King.
No, but he can go to he can go down. Okay, rook f5 back. God, they're walking a tightrope right now.
Yeah, as long as you don't step on this diagonal where you can promote with a check, like that's the only thing you can do.
He
but-
goes to b6 and now rook b5 check. Again, an only move.
and then you've got to take. You can't avoid now. Rook b5 check, and there's nothing you can do. You can go king a6, but that's not gonna be too helpful because you can't check.
King a6 and then black wins with
Yeah.
mate after promotion. So you have to take the rook, allow the queen with check. And now you have to find the perpetual.
Now Smoothly is low on time, so it's still a bit scary.
Just don't
but,
go. Don't go. Oh no! He went to
Oh
D.
no, he blundered as a queen. He blundered as a
Queen
queen.
h1 fork.
One.
Oh my God! Smoothly, the one square you couldn't go to. Look at them.
Oh, he's gonna be so destroyed.
Oh my God!
I don't freaking know.
Gilby,
I'm-
a huge sigh of relief. Can't believe himself. Smoothly, also beside himself, resigns after he skewers his own queen after a miracle comeback. He threw it all away.
Begins with a vision.
Oh my god, That's.
This
That's
is the
gutting.
Creator Cup.
I was so looking forward to tie breaks just then as well.
Oh
Like-
my God. And we've got Gilby moving on to the finals against Agna next week. Everything on the line. This was the match of the event so far. And Smoothly,
Yeah,
gotta give
I
him
think-
credit. What a game he put on. And just to blunder it in one move at the very last moment, there's incredible. And to Gilby finding the rook sacrifice to queen, this was unreal.
This was unreal. He had nothing going for him. He generated a crazy promotion tactic that Gilby missed, got it all back, and then at the last second stumbled before we were gonna go to tie breaks. I'm seeing if the players will join for a call. So
Man, the drama, the finish. This was quite the game. I don't think you could have topped this in any way, but
No.
the event's not even over yet. We still have Agni versus Gilby coming up after this. And I mean, wow, what an event. Matt, this has been an absolute pleasure. What an incredible game.
Yeah, I couldn't have asked for a better semi-final matchup here for the championship bracket. This was fireworks. This is going to be hard to rival next weekend. So Gilby's going to have to, step some stuff up against Agni
Oh
if we're going to
man.
match this. Like, I was resigned, like thought it was over, was just waiting for the commentary bit to end on this game. Just unfortunate opening blunder, and then it just came out of nowhere as well. So we should see Gilby can join for a call. I haven't heard from Z yet. He's just having a quick look at his game, so we might see if he can pop in as well once he checks. But I'm gonna get dialing in, so I'm probably gonna pop off cam for a very quick second here while I try and just get the players into the chat.
It's all good. Maybe we can take a look at the winner's reaction here. Congratulations once again to Gilby. We're trying to get these players in for an interview. But man, I can't believe Smoothly
I think it'll be a good match.
went to the one square you couldn't go to.
Hey.
Hello, everyone.
Oh.
Let me turn this on.
Hold on. Is scene 4? Okay, what the hell? Whatever. Track me?
Hello, we can we can hear you.
There we go, I think.
Hey, you might have to create a virtual camera in your OBS and choose a scene, Gil.
Yeah, I don't know why the camera isn't working on here.
If you go
Probably
to your-
because you're using it on OBS, would be
so
my
if you go
guess.
to OBS settings,
Oh.
camera.
It's because I was blocking it, I think. So it was black because like
Well,
Think.
we can see the OBS feed. I think you just need to change the scene source in your OBS virtual camera setting.
BS. And this camera should be working there, right? I mean, it's not working, but I don't know why it isn't. The next final is next week.
Agni
I know.
will be playing in the final against Gilby. Gilby just won. We're trying to add his camera here, but congratulations, Gilby. Smoothly. What a finish on that last game. We countered you out so early. What do you have to say to all the people that maybe didn't think that you'd bring it back?
Listen, the second you take your guard down against me, you're gonna get punched in the fucking mouth.
I totally missed that bishop e8 was like a move. I thought my rook could just always get to the corner. Like
I said one thing. The second you take your guard down around me, you get punched in the fucking mouth.
And then I was just like, how the heck did I just blunder a draw when I was so one in? It's like
You say that. I did that the first game.
yeah, I mean, but the first game was kind of a roller coaster, right? Like I was completely winning and
how
then you
about this? Next week we play again, and this will be what actually determines the finals. I think that's what we need to do here.
Unfortunately, the results
At
are
least-
in. They are locked in. But I would
What were the
love
results?
a 1v1 match with you two next week.
A salty sweet, run it back,
At least-
rematch. That'd be
At least
crazy.
it was how I was playing today. It's a very even match.
I think neither of us were playing at our best.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Do you guys think it was the
I-
nerves? Were you nervous going into the semifinals?
No, it wasn't nerves.
I think
Definitely
it's just
not
that I
nerves.
didn't eat anything. I think it's more so just that I didn't eat anything today, and like I was watching football before this, and so my brain wasn't really ready.
I mean, where's the prep? I'm actually a bit disappointed, Gil. Like, I was expecting some solid prep. I mean,
Oh, there's
like,
no prep.
You put
well,
in the bare minimum prep of knowing that I don't like playing against D4.
Oh, I didn't know
I
that.
knew that
I just didn't know how much he looked at stuff. So I was like, so I'm like, if he's all booked up, I don't want to go into some line that he's just gonna beat me out of the opening, and he's not gonna expect D4
I'm
because
not
I
going
never.
to expect D4, but like I don't care if I see. I mean, I'm going to be playing the Dutch every single time against that anyhow. It's just
Yeah,
that it's a crazier opening, so I'm more off my feet.
it was
But
mostly just
usually
to
that means
avoid.
my opponent is too.
It was mostly just to avoid any like crazy prep that you might have had.
You thought I was preparing?
I didn't know because you kept on talking about it.
You
I,
kept
I
on talking about beating you.
I
Yeah.
personally thought that you might be
Well, if I
preparing.
didn't talk about beating you, then I wouldn't be able to convince myself I could.
So you are hyping yourself up just to make it easier when you got to the board to play against him. Was there any other game plan you were coming in with to play
Oh
Gil?
no, that was it. Be the fucking best and be the fucking best.
Well,
And I only did the first step. I did not do both.
Smoothly, your group stage contestant Agni was clinching her spot in the finals and looking forward to playing against you as a rematch. But now Gilby's playing against her. Do you have any words of advice for Gilby going into the finals against Agni?
Uh, I'm in a weird spot because I can't tell whether or not I want Gilby to go the fuck down or if I want Gilby to be the winner because he's also the reason I lost. Um, so I would say play exactly average and let me decide after the fact how I feel about the end of the tournament.
Well, would you want to maybe still give Agna her rematch after the finals smoothly?
Yeah, we could definitely arrange that. I do know that that was like a point of contention. God damn. It just I'm a little bit bummed because I just needed to play a king pawn or king move over the first game, and then I would have been looking the entirety of this second game for a draw, which I haven't. Um, and it was a nice find that you could sacrifice your rook, and I was surprised that you kept on being able to. Like that was fucking crazy. Like the geometry on the board for that second game was unfucking believable.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
That was. I think that was the only way to save it, though.
It
Yeah,
was the only way to save it, but like the fact that I couldn't even run to the other side of the board to escape you.
it was
I
still
couldn't
a
hide behind my
draw.
pawn. You still had it.
Even yeah,
I mean, you
after
could have.
the rook
No, it
sacks
was a draw the entire
and then the
time.
queens, you only had one square to avoid and you hit it. So how does that make you like did you notice that immediate as soon as you let go
So
of
I'd
your
like you
king?
to ask that question. I'd like you to ask that question slowly and then answer it for me. How do you think I feel
How
about
does
that?
it feel smoothly? Walk us through the emotions there.
Um, Honestly, if I know that I said it like as a bit like how do I feel? I said this to my chat immediately. I pulled water from a fucking rock in that game. I was down 6 points of material. Um, like I did everything that I needed to get back in the game. So the fact that I ended up losing it is like I could look at it one of two ways. Uh, I came so far and then it didn't even matter, which is a pessimistic look that I usually engage with, or I could look at it as I just fucking played some of the best endgame chess of my entire fucking life.
Well,
I
smoothly
look at it the
to
second
to
way.
get to that
If I
point, your start of that game, do you think you were tilted because you threw the first one?
No, I was not tilted.
Okay.
If I just play rook over to just block the pawn, isn't that just completely winning?
Yeah, rook a8 and you're still winning. Also, when you push the f pawn, if you had pushed the h pawn, that was
Yeah.
also still winning.
Just everything was
what was the thought behind the F pawn push? Because
Well, because
I
that
was
gave
just
him
thinking
rook
that
f6, but the move that smoothly missed was bishop to d4, I think.
E4 when?
If you block the rook f6 check with your bishop, it was still a draw.
Oh, that was a move.
After he played f5, trying to
Rook,
play rook
oh yeah, I
f6.
was looking at that move and I didn't like it because I wanted to be able to cut off the rook from its sight line to the a file.
Yeah, but
Right?
rook a8 was still possible. But nonetheless, what happened
Rook a8 is
happened.
wait. I'm
Well,
looking at
after
I'm
I
looking
guess
at the
after
game
rook
right
f6,
now.
he's gonna win the e pawn
Rook f6.
check.
So, yes, f5, bishop d4.
I don't know. There's just something that like it doesn't like even as you're saying it now, I don't see it. It even happened. I still don't see it. But
What move are you looking
yeah,
at?
I'm looking at move 37, where I could play d4, which
So
again was
after
something I
rook
did consider.
f7, bishop d4 was a draw because you're
Let me go ahead
preventing
and
rook
let my
f6.
stream actually see what I'm talking about, so that my
Yeah.
poor viewers who have heard me say nothing the entire time have something to look at. Position 3. What I'm looking at here is this.
There we go.
I go bishop d4, but then I didn't like the fact that rook b7 existed for whatever reason. Oh yeah, because then I can't put my bishop on c7 um, and cut off circulation to for the rook to the promotion.
Well, anything else you did allowed rook f6.
Rook f6. I don't really care about that though.
But then the king gets to
What's so bad?
d7, I guess. And
You're saying above all else, I needed to keep the king on the back rank.
I
Yeah.
suppose.
Yeah, you had to. I just because I think it was my issue is I just completely missed the bishop move. But I think if I just play it like normally and I get your king off the, and I'm able to get my king off the back rank, then I'm just completely winning.
Yeah, there might be something to do with targeting g6 and bishop f6 maybe as well, but I'm
Because
not 100% sure. I need to check. I haven't got it up at the moment.
because I somehow need to be able to push those pawn. I mean, I guess I can, but I gotta like, I don't know. I think it takes away a lot of your threats. I think if I'm able to get my king off.
Yeah, this game could be studied perhaps for a lifetime.
Yeah.
But what happened, and we had probably the most dramatic finish you could have, perhaps of all time. So I want to congratulate both of you, regardless of the result, of both just fighting on in both games, in both positions that were just seemingly completely lost, and to have changed the verdict despite what the engine was saying, despite what the fans believed, and for giving us such incredible, entertaining fighting chess. I think that hopefully this is not going to be the last time that you guys play, and you guys hopefully are going to give us more exciting matches. There's still a match next weekend. We've got the finals as well as the third place match. Gilby, let us know your thoughts now that you made it to the finals. How do you like your chances against Agni?
I mean, I think I've got solid chances if I play well. If I play like I did today, I don't know. I think Agni might not let me get away with some of that stuff.
That's a fair point. And for Smoothly, I
What are you
think
trying to say here?
Just that I got kind of lucky today.
Gilby definitely has been saying he's been getting lucky, and I think that's definitely the case. And as you guys have both mentioned, today was not your best chess. We know that you guys definitely have another level, and we're hoping to see that next week. Zach, you play against Max in the third place match, and he, I think, was hoping to play against you, saying that Gilby has beaten him every single time. So, what do you have to say about your match against Max next week?
Oh, the same as everyone else. They're going down.
All right. Well, you heard it here, folks.
Chat also throwing some shade. Ollie was saying he thinks Smoothly is essentially through because he's scared of Agni.
Well, that's not true because Zach
that
said he
was
would give the rematch.
no, but that is a funny thought. I was like, well, I spited Agni out of the one thing she wanted.
I know.
You can
Nobody
hold that
wants
against her.
Max
I have
and
a
Agni
100
both said they didn't want to play me.
I have a 100% winning record in tournament against Agni, and Agni will have to live with that until she finds me in a tournament.
Well, you said that you'd give her a rematch, right?
Oh
Or
yeah,
you
I'll give her a rematch.
Okay.
I feel like that's only just.
So we
Uh,
can go on record and say that Zach is not he's many things, but not a coward.
Oh, I'm a coward, but just not over the board.
Not against Agni. All right. Well, Matt, do you have any final questions for our participants here?
No, I just want to thank you guys so much for playing, giving us some incredible chess, and also showing a really high level of fighting spirit. I think these were super exciting games, even when we thought you were out for the count. So just it's a follow-up thanks from me for that, and I'm super excited to see you both play next weekend, and I expect to see some.
How many months of diamond does fourth place should I get, and third place should I get?
Well, we can take a look at the prizes. We've got second place gets 3 months. Knockout round 2 is 2 months. Knockout round 1 is 1 month. It says.
Yep.
Oh, so I have solidified that I'm getting 2 months.
You have solidified you're getting 2 months. There is no differentiation between 3 and 4. So first and second will get the 3 and 6 months.
Okay, well, one of my followers will be getting 2 months of premium for free from me.
Huge.
So
Congratulations.
follow me or perish. Those are your 2 options.
Shout out to Smoothly and Gilby, both live right now. Be sure to go support them, check them out, and stay tuned because they've got more matches coming up next weekend. Also, we've got a match on Tuesday, the last semifinal match in the consolation bracket between Gremlin and Blood Queen. Gilby, your quick thoughts on that match?
And I think both players, they're just kind of volatile. Like they both can play good, and they both can play like what the heck chess.
What the
So I
heck
think it's
chess?
just kind of
That's solely on
it's just
brand.
like they just kind of it looks like they're just throwing pieces where and like see where it sticks. Like
Your
but sometimes
thoughts,
they play good chess.
Smoothly? Any predictions for that matchup?
I know who I'm rooting for.
Would you like to share?
Yeah, please expand.
Both of them. Both of them are people I care about.
Right answer.
Everybody is getting rooted for.
Love that.
Yeah, I'm on the same page. I struggle to root for either of them. I think they're both fantastic players, and both have a kind of similar chill vibe on their streams as well. So I'm really excited to see who comes out on top and then who makes it through.
And the winner will face against Ollie, who rated. Shout out to Ollie. Appreciate that and welcome in. Ollie winning a big match today against B Skywalk. So yeah, Creator Cup, it's absolutely delivering. Shout out once again to Matt as the organizer, and of course to all of the players. And thank you to all the viewers tuning in and supporting us. This was definitely a treat, and I hope to see you all again on Tuesday to see Gremlin versus Blood Queen, the final semifinal match. And good luck to both Gilby and Smoothly next week. You guys have some big matches, so we'll let you go and prepare for that. Are either of you gonna continue streaming?
I'll go and raid. Yeah, go and raid Z.
Everybody raid me.
All right, let's raid Smoothly.
You have 2 months of premium on
Here
the line.
we go.
Let's go.
Hey.
Yeah, snag those 2 months of premium.
Oh, thank you, Gary.
Goodbye, everyone.
All right, take care.
Thanks, guys.
All right, and another reminder of the prizes on the line before we get going. We've got the signed Hikaru and Arjun board for the winner. That's going to be Agna versus Gilby, and Matt showing off the board there.
I wasn't sure if you could see me. I can't see the stream. So we
Yes.
have Hikaru and Arjun sideboard. On what squares actually? D5 and D3.
Awesome. Incredible stuff. And yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you, Fly, Alan, Jeremiah. People tuning in from all over the world at all hours of the day and nights. We're going to go send the raid off to Smoothly for putting up such a great fight. And he's going to be playing the third place match next week. But this has been the Creator Cup semifinals. My name's Joe. I'm joined by the creator organizer, Matt. And thanks again, everyone. We'll see you all next time.
See you guys.